to the show. Welcome to the show.
I mean, thought it would feel one of two ways today on the show. And I don't think it feels either of those ways because I am not despondent after last night's loss. I'm not elated after last night's loss. You know, what I imagine you can speak to it, Crowder. Anyone who gets into sports, any player, any coach, the dream scenario is there's a minute left on the clock. We have to score a touchdown, and if we score a touchdown, we win the championship. Or if you get into basketball, it's give me the ball, 10 seconds left, one bucket, and we win the championship. And they had that moment last night. We all had that moment last night. We sat through the game. We had sat through the entire college football playoffs. There were ups and downs, but here they are at Hard Rock Stadium. I mean, this is so cool, but here they are at Hard Rock Stadium. You have Carson Beck, big NIL investment, huge name, comes to your school, and Mario Cristobal, year 4, and it's one drive, couple minutes left, score a touchdown, you win the Natty. And didn't work out exactly the way you wanted it to work out, but man, to be in that situation after the season that they had, I was having lunch with some friends today, and I was like, you know, if I told you after SMU or Louisville that this was going to be the scenario at the end of the season to win a national championship, you'd have signed up for it every time, and it was cool up until the pick.
I would tell you this. We were texting last night. I was like, this is football. This is what two good teams do. It's going to be a single-digit game. Somebody's going to have the ball, and they can either milk the clock or they can go win the game. That was an amazing football game. Those coaching staffs were so prepared. They outcoached us in the first half. Third quarter, you saw Mario and Shannon Dawson and that damn Heatherman come out. Heatherman had a hell of a game plan in the first half, too. So even them scoring 10 points, when they were blitzing off the edge and they were busting Mendoza in the back of the head over and over again, like it was, you know, I love X and O's. I'm watching the game. I'm like, okay, they got him. Okay, they got our run game down with our heavy package. Like, that was an amazing coaching. We were more talented, and it came down to the last drive. Everyone talks about 3 phases of the game. I gave the good news first because I really enjoy watching that game. Everybody talks about 3 phases of the game. We outplayed them defensively. We were even with them offensively. Their special teams won the game. We missed a field goal, and we had a block punt for a touchdown. That's 10 points. So the special teams is nothing sexy to talk about, but those 2 plays, that missed field goal and that damn block punt for a touchdown, was what dictated the game. And past all that, Hoch, you still had a chance with a minute left to drive down and win the game, and Carson Beck threw that pick. Nobody held that corner in the flat. Like, it was great coaching. It was great players making plays, and Malachi Tony made plays. They had a great plan against Malachi. They weren't letting Malachi Tony beat you. If you saw every time he moved, if he whispered, if he farted, they were putting 3 people on him. Mark Fletcher, who was the MVP of the playoffs, went and got him a 57-yard run. Like, everything you thought was going to happen happened, and Carson Beck couldn't finish it. That's what football is, fellas. Last night was the epitome of the 2 best teams in the world playing for something.
I felt that watching the game. I said to myself, I think we are definitely watching the 2 best teams in college football. And I think one of the reasons that Malachi Tony fielded that punt at the 5, which really ended up biting them because that led to the block field goal, the block punt. I think one of the reasons he fielded that was because they had shut him down so much and made him like, you're right. They were not going to let Malachi Tony get the ball and beat them. And so I think he so desperately wanted to make something happen. He's a smart guy. He knows not to field that punt, but I think he so desperately wanted to make something happen. He ended up fielding that punt. And then, you know, there was the block punt deep in your own end zone, which was a bad block on that punt. It was too lackadaisical of a punt for that situation. But that doesn't happen if you don't field the ball at the 5 regardless. But there were scenarios like that. But like you say, you get down to the end of it, you got one drive. Hey, score a touchdown, win a natty. If you don't, they win the natty. I mean, that's kind of the way it should end up with two of the best teams, the 2 best teams in college football. Didn't go our way, but man, it was something.
Think of the Texas A&M game. Oh, they beat the hell out of Ohio State, which is surprising, the whole time. But think of the Ole Miss game. Carson Beck had to run that ball in to win the game, and then Trinidad Chambliss had a chance to win the game at the end with the Hail Mary. It's what good team. When you start getting into these deep playoff runs, think about what's going on in the NFL right now with the playoffs of the NFL. It all comes down to one drive. You want to see top-level football. And I'll say this, as a Gator, I'm off the bandwagon now because y'all lost.
Oh, really? We didn't know that was coming.
I'll say this now. That is an amazing competitive team. And even the Malachi Toney thing. Mark Fletcher's short rushing touchdown was Shannon Dawson seeing if Malachi Toney flinches his pinky toe, they're going to run 3 guys with him. That's why Mark Fletcher ran in. Like, it was a X and O game. Signetti's a hell of a coach. That coaching staff is a hell of a coach. I tell you, the Canes got something because Heatherman came out the box calling that damn defense. Mario called a hell of a game. He managed the clock. He did everything he was supposed to do with the timeouts. And Shannon Dawson won the one series. They came and threw it 3 times in a row. You saw, it was funny because they showed a picture of him. He was kind of like, yeah, no, that was a dumb idea. Let me go on to plan C because plan B is garbage. Like it was 2 coaching staffs that knew exactly what to do, how to do it. Malachi Toney was not catching a bubble screen. If you notice, they were shooting people at his ankles every time he stopped in the backfield. It was a football game of the best. Coaches and players. UM's players kept him in the game. Ruben Bain has some amazing play. Mesidor went crazy. The guys that we know are great were great. And Indiana, Signetti and them made sure that those players were not going to beat them on every play. It was bro, I don't know if y'all feel this way because you're emotionally attached to it. That was supposed to happen. If Carson Beck, if he throws that ball 5 yards deeper and 1 yard higher, he scores that touchdown. CJ Daniels, and it's a whole different game. Like, that's what football is supposed to be. I enjoyed the hell out of watching that game last, and I'm not going to lie.
The difference ultimately, though, was one team hasn't made mistakes all season in Indiana. And if you want to say it's because they're the oldest team, the more experienced team, fine. But one team all season long played mistake-free football.
I'll tell you, just to point one thing out, though, they had played mistake-free football. That offsides at the end, when they had 2nd and 1 and it got pushed back to 2nd and 6, they had the game won. Yep. It was salted away. And that offsides, the uncharacteristic penalty on Indiana, almost cost them a national championship.
But I was waiting at some point. Make a mistake. Mendoza, throw one errant pass. A muffed, a botched snap. Something like one mistake. And there was none from them. And Miami this season was able to overcome constant penalties, constant mistakes, turnovers, because their talent was just so good. But against that team, you weren't going to be able to overcome it. You weren't going to be able to overcome the amount of penalties that Miami ended up having yesterday. But ultimately, like you said, Crowder, you miss the field goal and you get the block punt. And that team just wasn't going to hand you the game with a mistake of their own. And they didn't. I mean, that really was what cost the Canes, because other than that, they played well enough to win the game. Literally, they played well enough to win the game, even after a first half that was honestly a little embarrassing. I'm not going to lie, to put up a donut in the first half. They played well enough, even with that. And it was just their own mistakes.
No, and this damn 87, and they have NIL, so I say their names now. Alex Bowman, number 87, he let his team lose the game. That blocked field goal. That wasn't schematic. That wasn't a mistake. That was him not doing his damn job. So I guess it is a mistake, but it wasn't like there was this great punt block on. it was big number 6 with the dreads. I don't know his name, just running around the corner, and 87 grazing his elbow. If he throws his shoulder into the guy's chest, stomach, crotch, anywhere, that punt gets off. They don't score a touchdown, and I don't think they score on that drive when they get the punt back. Also, that was the mistake. It wasn't the penalties and all of that stuff that everybody said this is going to kill Miami. It wasn't that. It was individual humans not doing their damn job.
The punter, too, though, even though there's not a full-out block on, you're deep in your own territory in your end zone, punt it quickly. Like, get that ball off. Stop with the lackadaisical 3-yard walk to the right, and then it was just that, to me, was the difference in the game. It started with Malachi Toney fielding the punt at the 5. It was just like a cavalcade of errors in that particular sequence. They started way too deep. The 87, the block was non-existent on what looked like an easy way to impede them. And the punt itself, Kirk Herbstreit and Chris Fowler kept pointing it out on the broadcast. It was just too lackadaisical for that moment in that situation. We're going to talk about it. Gino Torretta is going to join us today. Joe Zagacki is going to join us today. Chris Perkins will join us, talk about the Dolphins' new head coach. So let's get a quick look at the headlines with Solana, brought to you by Doral Volkswagen, home of the Pricito, our lowest price. Visit them at Doral Volkswagen or DoralVolkswagen.com.
I was gutted, man. I really enjoyed watching the game. It was a fun game, but when Carson Beck threw the interception, I really thought it was going to happen.
I saw the ball in the air and I said, oh my God, like it's happening. Like he launched a ball. There's going to be someone there. And there was someone there. Granted, double coverage. And like Crowder said, little longer, little higher. And you probably have a national championship, your 6th national championship. But the way and they really, I mean, Herbstreit pointed it out so well on the broadcast. Like, the way, because they were double teamed, the way that the safety and the cornerback could play that the way they wanted to, rather than the way the receiver wanted to. It was just, it had to be the perfect pass.
Yep. If there was another receiver on that side of the field, the corner would have to respect him and would have stayed up a little bit.
Right.
It was beautiful football. X and O football stuff, bro. It was beautiful football, and you saw the better team come out on top. Indiana's better at they're a better overall team than Miami, but Miami's more talented, and we saw who won.
Malachi Toney was wide open on that play, man. Underneath, he was wide open,
and you didn't need it all.
You didn't need it. There was 50 seconds left.
But that's fine.
I know. I'm nitpicking, but he went for the big play. And by the way, he earned it in that moment. I was wildly impressed with Carson Beck in the second half because couldn't move the ball at all in the first quarter. The Canes couldn't pick up a first down on third down at all. It was just, it wasn't happening. It wasn't. Yep. And they had back-to-back drives where, sure, Fletch had the touchdown. That dude's just a beast. But he was making big-time throws on third down, and like he was doing it. And we saw it against Ole Miss. In that situation, he delivered, and I really thought he was going to do it again yesterday.
It was like a boxing one. Malachi Toney got Randy Moss treatment.
Yeah.
We used to call it, and we would flat out say, when we played the Patriots that year, we played like a Steve Smith at his prime, Andre Johnson with the Texans. Our call would be, whatever, base under O, double Johnson. Like flat out double wherever he is, we're putting a safety over top of him and somebody on him man to man. Malachi was getting Randy Moss treatment last night. But then Shannon Dawson saw that, and that's why Mark Fletcher walked in the end zone for his short touchdown run. Like, it was a very beautiful schematic game. Malachi was open. I saw that, and everybody was talking about it. But if you're double teaming somebody, you scheme around it. You don't scheme into it. There's 2 guys on him. Everybody else is singled. Let's try to throw it to a single guy. So it was just a back and forth of what good coaches do.
And I'm with you, though. It was right on by Indiana because we've watched it all season. Malachi Toney gets the ball in his hands. He's going to beat you. You give him a chance to return a kick, he's going to beat you. You get, whether it's the Malley Cat or a little screen, he's going to make magic happen. And Indiana came into it and said, it ain't going to happen tonight. You'll have to find another way. It ain't going to happen tonight.
He got the big screen down to the 10. He got a couple catches, but he wasn't. There was no way Malachi Tony was going for 100 yards on how that.
I mean, he was fighting and scratching for every yard that he got because they were making him do that.
I think he did end up with 100 yards, and he still got the touchdown.
Yeah, that nice long reception at the end where he finally was able to break one. Yeah.
Damn, man.
I know. I bet on the Canes. I wanted them to win. I was cheering for them.
They covered, by the way. They covered.
They did cover. It made a nice little payday on that one. I enjoyed the game more than who won the game or not because it was what football is supposed to look like.
And overall, Hoch, you would agree, a wildly successful season. I know nobody wants to do that today because of the loss, but you can look at it rationally and say when the Canes lost to SMU, we were talking about maybe Mario, questions about his future here.
It felt like the bottom had fallen out on some promises.
Yeah.
And it didn't. It hadn't. And so I love the season. I know I'm in the minority on Canes fans. I loved the season. I loved the fact that SNL was doing Michael Irvin parodies because that really signifies to me that the U is a national story. And that's what we've been aching for a long time. And they were saying it on the broadcast last night. Scott Van Pelt was saying it on the postgame. Man, when Miami is relevant in college football, this entire sport feels better. It was a fantastic season. There were a couple times where he thought it was over. I'm saying during the season, SMU and Louisville, and it wasn't. And there were times where they needed magic and they got it. And again, I mean, what more could you ask for? One drive, win a national championship. Like you could ask for obviously scoring the touchdown. But I mean, we watched Oregon get booted off the field by that Indiana team. Yep. We had a chance to win it at the end. Bring it down, score a touchdown. You're hoisting a trophy. And it was close, but no cigar.
There was not the team that won. We know who won. There was not a distinct difference in that game other than special teams.
Yeah,
I would take Miami. I would take Miami over Indiana in a lot of different things because if those special teams, if that field goal goes in and they don't block that punt for a touchdown, I think Miami's the national champions right now.
Yep.
But the coaches adjusted. Great clock management. They made the game fast. That's what they wanted to do. Indiana wanted all this damn time possession like they've had to score 40 points a game. Like I was watching the pregame and I'm like, Miami's not letting them get that ball 12 times. Mm-hmm. They might get that damn thing 7 times because they're not going to let them sit around and just drive down the field on them over and over again. Exactly how it played out. And you had the ball with a minute left to win it.
Yep.
Football, baby. That was football last night. I'm excited even with the loss because that was football.
Anything in the headlines because I won't have enough time with Gino.
Oh, yeah, the Dolphins have a new head coach.
They do. What's his name? Jeff Hafley?
Jeff Hafley is the defensive coordinator for the Green Bay Packers. We talked about it yesterday. The connection, seamless, it would appear, between JES and now his guy from Green Bay.
All right.
How are your friends? Hope he's good.
The Panthers lost to the San Jose Sharks, but who cares? Sergei Bobrovsky threw down the gloves and went to go murder somebody.
That goalie fight, you don't see it, and it was amazing.
Bob ain't with no BS now. I like that.
No BS.
I heard him. I was listening to Tobin and Leroy. His quote was like, "Yeah, once I decided to go down there, I'm going down there. No questions. There was no talking."
Robot. He's a robot.
Yeah. He said once I started skating, I'm gonna get this fade.
More on that later because some of the details of goalie fights in general make that even more special. The Heat did get blown out in Golden State yesterday, 135-112. Crowder, if you missed it, look up Bam Adebayo's night last night because I don't know how I can defend that. Jimmy Butler did leave the game. He was carried off the floor. He tore his ACL.
Yeah, he's done.
Damn. Canes Hoops tonight. They're going to host FSU. It's Coach L night.
That's right. We're going. We're going to the game. Are you going, Crowder? You didn't come to the studio today. It would lead me to believe that you're not going to celebrate Coach L.
I totally forgot, but I do have to fly out tonight.
No, you didn't forget because we had it on our text thread several times.
I know. I got to go to Boston.
I love when he lies. Like he lies right to us when we know that he knows.
Who does that?
Damn it, you ain't said nothing all damn day, man. You ain't said nothing for 23 minutes. Now you want to say something crazy. Punch you in your damn stomach.
In South Florida, right now it is in the 70s. Tonight it'll be in the 70s. What's your weather?
I think 60s. In the 70s tonight?
Yeah, 70s, 60s.
I think in the 60s.
60s, 70s.
Regardless, Gino Torretta, the Heisman Trophy winner, normally joins us on Thursdays, but makes a little more sense to have him on today. If your home needs a new roof or just a repair, my guy Party Peter at Perfect Choice Roofing has you covered. He's a big Miami football fan, so he was in his feels last night, as we all were. But now, take a breath, you give him a call, and find out what he has to say. And you really just have to start with the website, roofhotline.com. Perfect Choice Roofing offers instant range estimating, meaning you can get a price range of your roof within 30 seconds and see different roof options at the same time. And all you have to do is visit roofhotline.com. Like I said, maybe it's not an entire new roof that you need. Maybe it's just a repair. Any homeowner knows you get a couple shingles that go bad here or there. It can become a problem. What you don't want it to become is a major problem. So you take care of it now at roofhotline.com. Party Peter and roofhotline.com have you covered. There is no job they can't do. So obviously you'd be looking for a reliable company. That's them. They offer the best manufacturer warranty, like a 30-year warranty. Just contact Perfect Choice Roofing at roofhotline.com. Again, whether it's an entire new roof or just a repair, Party Peter and Perfect Choice Roofing have you covered. Visit that website right now. It's roofhotline.com.
This is Hoch, Crowder, and Solana.
Got a horse running at Saratoga? Give me anything. You got a lottery ticket? You got some numbers? What do you got? I'm all right. All right, we'll get to Gino Torretta in 1 second. You know, in Miami, we don't drink coffee, we drink cafecito. And our pastries, we call them pastelitos. And when you want a low price, you pay less with a Pricito at Doral Volkswagen. Take advantage of a Pricito now on all your favorite new Volkswagen models like a Tiguan, Jetta, Taos, Atlas, and more. Don't wait. Hurry to Doral Volkswagen today. Don't miss your chance to save on a new Volkswagen with easy financing, fast service, and the best value for your money, because you always pay less with your Pricito at Doral Volkswagen. Visit them at Doral Volkswagen or start shopping for your Pricito now at DoralVolkswagen.com. Gino Torretta is on the Toyota of Hollywood hotline. The Heisman Trophy winner joins us weekly courtesy of the local 519 Plumbers Union. In football and in life, it's about being on the right team. Join the winning team at local 519 Plumbers Union, a proven path to a strong career. Visit plumbers519.com. So I said at the beginning of the show, and I'm imagining you could speak to this, as a quarterback, last night is what you dream of, right? One drive, a minute and a half on the clock. You score a touchdown, you win a national championship. If you don't, you go home. And that's what that's the scenario that you envision in your head, right? When you're a kid, whether it's a basketball player, football player, right? It's for that moment, and it was there for them, Gino.
Yeah, it's what you play pickup when you're playing in the street. You know what I mean? When you play with your boys, it's like go down 2 cars and that's the touchdown, and we got to get it past there in a certain point in time. And we obviously had a chance, and it was a great game. Kind of obviously not a great first half for Miami, and then the second half was just gangbusters. I thought both teams played great. It was kind of a heavyweight bout. Like they swung and hit us, and we swung and hit them, and it was an impressive performance. But as a quarterback, it's like you envision. All right, last drive, I got less than 2 minutes, and I win a Super Bowl. I win a state championship in high school. I win a national championship in college, and we had a chance.
And Gino, I actually saw it on the text line with the people talking about the coaching or being out coached. To your point, we destroyed them. I'm still saying we, Gino, but we outcoached them in the third quarter. First half, I think Heatherman did a crazy job coming out with those edge blitzes where Mendoza didn't know where the pressure was coming from. He was handicapped because Xavier Lucas was out, so he had to play off. He didn't feel comfortable playing chest to chest, man to man, but he adjusted to that. And then Shannon Dawson came out with that little cute pass package, and it didn't work, and then he got away from it. I don't think there's any reason to question Mario and his staff after this game.
No, there's no question. I was just impressed. I mean, listen, we've talked about the offensive line all year. We talked about, Bain and Mesidor and those guys coming up big. I mean, their defensive line, I don't know. I'm sitting there watching. I'm like, it didn't seem like they came near Beck. I mean, it was like, man, they were dominating the line of scrimmage. I thought early on in Channing, I don't know if you noticed, we took some risks because they took some shots at Mendoza, like on RPO fakes where he wasn't nowhere near the ball, and I'm like, damn, they didn't call that. I mean, I'd have been, as well as I do, Tom Brady would have been crying for a flag, saying, "Hey, dude, I'm the Heisman Trophy winner, throw a flag on that," and they didn't, and I thought. They got to him. They rattled him. Now it wasn't even in passing situations, and they were hitting him. I thought the wind was a little bit much where we missed that field goal on that side because he was just fractionally off for a guy that's been that accurate as he's been all season in the 2 playoff games. When he was going that way where we missed the field goal in that direction, I thought the ball was just a hair off. Maybe didn't have kind of the velocity that I had seen all season. That I thought the wind messed with both quarterbacks. And Malachi Tony, they can't tackle the dude. I just, you know what I mean? You watch the kid and it's just like, I don't know if he's got like the 360 vision like our backup cameras have on our cars, but homeboy will be running to the right and it'll be like 2 moves ahead and he cuts to the left. I'm like, how did he see these people? And then it's like, guys look like they got free shots on him. It reminds me of like Barry Sanders, and they can't take him down. He's amazing. And I thought they all played great. I just thought it was what a championship game is supposed to be. I think that both teams took their best shot, and we took some hits. They took some hits, and I thought, man, the team that's got it last is going to win the game, and we had it last. Just couldn't finish that last drive.
Were you impressed with Mendoza yesterday? I know it's hard not to be impressed watching him. He won the Heisman, so you already have a high expectation for him. He's played better since winning the Heisman, which was a big part of the broadcast. A lot of times that doesn't happen. But I'm not going to lie, Gino. I kind of, thought he's a little limited, and the team itself is what was carrying him. Yesterday, when he converts that 4th down play in the red zone to put them up 2 scores, I was like, wow,
that was badass.
This dude's the real
deal. It was
deal.
a gutsy call too.
Well, listen, from the shots he was taking in the first half slot, like I thought he has played better in the season. Seriously, like if you go those first 2 playoffs games, you watch him, you're just like, holy crap, nobody can stop this kid. And I just think I've always been impressed, and probably more and more as it's gone on, his toughness, but the guts of Cignetti to go for. I mean, I'm like, wait a sec, bro. You just kick a field goal. You go up by 7. You're good. 4th and 4 from the 12. Okay. Maybe they practice something. Channing knows. It's like you practiced a 2-point play and you're like, dude, they're not going to cover this. They've never seen it. We're running this. But to call quarterback draw, and Fernando's he's a good athlete, but let's not confuse him with Marshall Faulk or somebody like that in the backfield that, is going to be hard to take down. And, I mean, he spins around, and I thought they knocked him out. I was like, holy crap, when he spun around near the goal line, because that was at the far end. I was on the other side, on the sideline on the far end, and I'm like, they knocked him out. I'm like, he's out. You know what I mean? They're picking him up, and then he was like, whatever did their – I don't even know what their celebration is. And I was like, that is gutsy to not go for it, but to call a quarterback draw in there, and they got it in the heck that, I think Bain said it in an interview. He goes, we knew what they were going to do. He goes, they executed it. It's just like you call it, both teams give their best shot. And it was impressive. But I would say this, I was more impressed by his toughness last night than all of the other things that he showed me during the season.
Is he going to be, because Tom Brady was there, Mark Davis was there, is he going to be, the thought is he'll be the number 1 overall pick from the Raiders. Is he going to be an NFL star from what you watch? And I'm curious what you think Carson Beck will be in the NFL.
Listen, for quarterbacks to be a star, I think they have to have, you rely on 10 other players to do their job, to do your job outstanding. And there's a reason why Cam Ward struggled this year. The Tennessee Titans offense sucks and they can't block. I mean, let's just be honest. And I think that so will he be a star? It depends on the situation. He's going to be a David Carr and get sacked 70 times in a season.
Well, will he be a quality NFL quarterback given the right?
I think I think listen, with his talent, yes, I think he can be. It's just a matter of, okay, is he going to have some guys to throw to? Are guys going to be able to block? Because like I said, you can be a hell of a quarterback, but if you get put, players that can't block in front of you, guys that can't catch, it doesn't matter how good you are. I mean, you're not going to be that good. Yes, he will prepare. He's been relentless in his preparation. That's what the coaches will tell you. Leaves no stone unturned. I think he's tough. He's got all the physical attributes, and I think he'll be successful. But that ceiling to me is determined by how good are the players around you.
What about Carson Beck?
He has the physical ability. My question is on the arm stuff. I think that elbow, I think he's still coming off that, and I think he's going to get better. And I think that he'll be given an opportunity to have size, ability. I mean, he has all the physical physical tools and the physical capabilities, to be successful. But, it's a fine line, and it could be a fine opportunity. It could be just an opportunity or not an opportunity, like Brady. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, had Bledsoe not got, his head taken off in a game, would he have ever gotten in the game? Because Bledsoe was hitting his prime at that point in time, and maybe the Patriots extend him, and we don't see. Is it going to be like Matt Castle, where you get a chance, you become lights out, you get paid a scat of money, you go somewhere else, and you're not very good. So so it's I'm bad at projecting. I guess success in the next level in the NFL.
And Gino, with even losing, but just going to that championship game, and with the college football playoffs now being on TV every primetime games for 3 weeks now, damn near a month. I want to say, are the Canes back? I think that's an overused term, but does it really change is this going to change the landscape of college football now that UM has this under their belt? Mario has a national championship to sell. Win the state of South Florida type thing. Can this get back to hell when you played in those early 2000s?
Yeah, I think I think success breeds more success, and I think it makes it a little bit easier. But Mario's not slowing down. I mean, you talk to the security, and he'll be in there calling guys 3 hours after. I mean, I sat in a box last night next to Mrs. Saban. Nick comes up, after doing his halftime game day, and they were cheering him on, and I think he learned from Coach Saban. It's relentless pursuit, of players. So add in, he has the support and the resources behind him to get the recruits, to get the players with NIL, with however they factor in all the stuff for the players. So I think that combination is a damn good combination. And he doesn't, listen, his recruiting pitch, he lived it. I mean, we're both same class. We're 55-5 going through here. We won 2 national championships. He doesn't have to say, hey, this is why you go to Miami. This is what, it's like he was part of that. So I think that it will help. It may make it a little easier. Maybe some guys' decisions are made up to come to Miami even before he makes those calls, because how it is. Kids, they want to be on a successful team. They're like, man, these guys are, and I can be honest. When I first started getting recruited by Miami, my brother came here in 85 and 86, and I remember watching the 87 national championship. And Jim Kelly, who I sat with last night at the game, it was January 1st of 88. And Jim Kelly said, why would you want to go anywhere else? It's 75 degrees and it's January 1st. And I'm like, he's got a great point. So yeah. And that was, I was done. I didn't need to go on a recruiting visit. And then you see our guys on the sidelines. You see Ed Reed and his crazy hat, and EJ and Andre and Ray Lewis and all that. And you're just like, these guys got something different. And those guys played a long time ago. I want to be part of that. So maybe it makes it a little bit easier, but I don't think Mario's going to take his foot off the gas pedal at all.
Ed Reed trying to console players after the game. I don't know if you guys saw the video.
Did he take his hat off?
He didn't. Yeah. It's hard to take anybody, and I love, man, Ed Reed's my favorite Cane of all time.
Solana, when they showed him on the Jumbotron, I was like, is that one of those animated things that they do from some guy that's in the stands? I was like, 20. Wait a sec, is that Ed on the field? Entro rolls in the box I was with. I was like, Entro, is that Ed? He goes, oh yeah, that's Ed.
Yeah, big ass hats. It's just comical. They're really.
I'm with Solana. Don't console me in a big ass hat. I'm not looking at you the same.
He had his arm around. I don't know if it was Malik. I don't remember who it was. There's a video. He had his arm around him, and you can tell whoever the player was distraught, but Ed Reed has a big ass hat on.
Right.
Gino, do you agree with the notion? Because this was, I think, a take yesterday that I saw a lot, that Cignetti almost redefined how coaches will build through NIL, and it's no longer go get the most talented player, but it's go get the more experienced player, the older player. And I just wonder if you kind of prescribe to that notion that he almost redefined how college football will be played moving forward.
Well, I think there's a blueprint of that. Heck, I think Miami basketball. When Coach L took his team to the Final Four, we had a bunch of experienced dudes. And think about when college sports in general, basketball, football started changing, that experience, especially maybe more so in basketball, was like, hey, you have successful guys that are juniors and seniors. Maybe they can go out as a team and beat a bunch of one and dones. And that basically held true. They can. I think with Cignetti, it was a little different situation from the standpoint of he had coached at James Madison. He was successful at James Madison. And, oh, by the way, he could then, with the transfer portal, okay, I'm going to cherry pick. I want this guy, because I want these. I don't know how many guys he brought with him, but he's like, if I know I get those guys, they're the nucleus of the locker room, and they can teach a bunch of other guys. And I think with that experience, it's awful tough to do that. Okay, how do I get these older guys in the locker room? I think he was able to convince lower level, like the non-power 4 guys, to come with him. And I would even think like guys I play with, it's kind of like BYU. I mean, I can remember when we played BYU. I mean, we were playing against, there were some guys on our defense 25 years old. And I was like, man, who the hell is this? This guy's like, you know what I mean? They've been on a 3-year Mormon mission. Okay. But that's exactly kind of what Indiana went through this year. They had a bunch of dudes that were older. The average age was 23, and then get a superstar at quarterback. But you got a bunch of solid players that are experienced. And yeah, experience matters, man. Making decisions, how you perform in big game situations, like how you prepare, and that helps. But I don't know how you could do that again. I really don't. I mean, how are you just going to scour rosters? Because one, there's no more COVID year. You know, that this is the last year a guy can take a COVID year. So you're going to scour non-power 4 rosters and try to pick guys off on their senior season. And then you add in what I don't know what the NIL numbers got to be for them to come and play. But because he had that experience of seeing players, actually, he knew what they were. He knew what their attitudes. He knew like how to push their buttons. And I think that was his core nucleus of that's what he started with. And then he went from there. So I don't know if there's going to be another situation where you can emulate that. And to be honest, like Channing said, I don't know. 4th and 4 from the 12. There ain't many coaches that are saying, yeah, I'm going for it, run quarterback draw. I mean, outside of him, because I was saying the same. I'm like, damn, kick the field goal. I'm like, really? I'm going for it on 4th and 4. Wow.
Yeah. Wow.
Gino, you would have been a monster if you played 3 more years in college.
Hell yeah. Man, can you imagine like 27 years? I've been like 26, 27 years old.
Because he already had the psyche of an old soul. Like he was he looked like a veteran QB out there.
I had something better I know than a Toyota pickup truck that I was driving. with the big subwoofers right behind the seat, Channing.
That's what I say. If I was making $5 million a year, Gino, I'd have stayed in college forever.
Heck yeah. Why not?
Toretta, the Heisman Trophy winner. He joins us every week, courtesy of the local 519 Plumbers Union. With all the changes in how America does business, you can count on one thing: the union-trained plumbers of local 519. Join a winning team today with local 519 Plumbers Union, a proven path to a strong career. Visit plumbers519.com. Did they have good food up in your suite?
I was in a box right next to the President of the United States. So I can tell you this. I don't know who paid for the catering, but it was filet. It was filet roast, lobster, pork. It was the best catered box that I've ever been in.
Look a little bloated today.
Yeah, very nice. All right, we'll see you, Gino.
See you guys.
There you go, Gino Toretta, the Heisman Trophy winner on what could have been a day where we celebrate the 6th natty, but instead we have our 5 and we lament the one drive that ended in the INT. Could have ended a different way. Anyway, fun game last night, just not the outcome we wanted, but it did cover. So there's that.
Yeah.
We
All right,
did cover, fellas.
don't go anywhere. We've got more to come.
Y'all all know the anniversary of something really special, and my friends over at Ed Morris are celebrating the Ed Morris 80th year in business. That's why my buddy Chris Atkins, my man Teddy Morris, and their team over there, they are celebrating at Ed Morris Sawgrass Cadillac. They're commentating. I got the word wrong twice in a row. This occasion, they are trying to celebrate with you and special savings on Cadillac luxury. Like right now, this electric car thing is amazing. Y'all know my wife has an IQ. The all-electric 2026 Cadillac Epic and the all-electric 2025 Cadillac Lyrics are just $149 a month for the Optic and $169 a month for the Lyric. The Ed Morris brand has been family owned and operated for 80 years, and now you know how they take care of their customers. I tell you all the time, I'm a customer, and we are jacked up about it. So don't miss out on the 80th anniversary savings. See my friend at Ed Morris Sawgrass Cadillac. They are 6-time dealer of the year off Sunrise Boulevard and the Sawgrass Expressway. Visit EdMorrisSawgrassCadillac.com. And remember, you're always backed by Morris. Click EdMorrisSawgrassCadillac.com.
This is Hoch, Crowder, and Solana.
It went out. Spray paint raccoons and see if they come back in my yard after I catch them.
It's a great move.
Though it
We back at it with the steady, Hotman, Crowder, and Solana. 305, cafecito time, dame una colada. Got some interviews next, always got dope guests. Get the cesspool live, dropping comments and likes. We about to get right, talking sports, my G. Listen to Odyssey and 104.3. Live and back on GeorgiaMusic.com. Hitting it at the park like a mad murder's bomb off power. Get ready for the 3 o'clock hour. Get ready for the 3 o'clock hour. Get ready for the 3 o'clock hour.
I'm ready, Georgie.
Get ready for that 3 o'clock.
I'm ready for the 3 o'clock.
Are you ready for the 3 o'clock?
They're showing on ESPN right now notable right knee injuries for Jimmy Butler. Torn meniscus, 2018, sprained MCL, and now torn ACL.
I always get a kick out of the news stations. Like, it says developing story on the bottom line there, and it's Shams talking about it. What's developing? He tore his ACL.
Right.
Like, what else could possibly develop? I mean, what the Warriors do after, sure, but there's no developing story. I mean, he tore his ACL. He's out for the season. He'll be back in a year. And that's the developing story.
It's developed.
It's done.
It's done. All right. Anyway, 3 o'clock hour here on the day after the Natty. Tonight, Coach Jim Larinaga, our friend, is being honored by the men's basketball program. And Crowder is making a lot of noise.
I'm very excited about Coach L.
Are you on Safari again, or are you on?
Is it Safari? No, it's green.
It's green.
Oh, okay.
No.
You're on the green one. I got you.
Chrome. I'm the wrong shit.
What is he
Is that
doing?
better?
No, the browser, not your microphone. The browser that you're connected to online. I don't know why you're looking. Like, did you think that your microphone had two settings, Safari or Chrome?
Oh, okay. Let me see. There we go. Is that better?
Well, you couldn't have changed browsers while we're talking. In other words, you would have had to close out of. Are you? What's happening here, Solana?
Hawk, I don't want to do this today. I got to be honest. Last time we went down this path, it almost drove me to quit the show.
But it sounds, Crowder, like you're saying that you switched something because you went, is that better now? But you couldn't have switched browsers while we were talking.
I don't know. This is a new airbag book.
It's a new airbag book.
Air MacBook. This is a new one. Sometimes you can switch browsers on the new things.
No. Are you on Chrome or Safari? Which internet
Chrome?
browser? All right, that's
Okay.
all I'm asking.
Okay.
But why did you say, is that better?
I clicked on the microphone twice.
You realize there's only two settings, so if you click on it twice, you're just going back to the same setting.
What do you mean you clicked on the microphone?
I
twice?
went to settings, I went to mic, and then I clicked on it. It was on Yeti Nano, and I clicked Yeti Nano again, and then the little green buttons weren't as loud.
Okay.
The green buttons weren't as loud.
Well, the little digital microphone volume.
The meter, Crowder, the actual
Is he having a stroke?
levels. Well, did you listen
He
to his
might.
live read at the end of last
Man.
segment?
Yeah, what did you say?
So-
Commentating.
So what happened was I had to read up for Ed Morris. When I went into it, then the phone died. So I tried to do the read from memory. And I obviously it wasn't memorized. And I just mumbled a bunch of foolishness.
But whose phone dies when you're sitting at a desk? Like, that's the spot where you have everything plugged in.
I know. And I have the plug in now. I plugged it in now. I went and got a plug. But my wife's not here. Asia's not here. She's still up in Tampa with the kids. So I don't charge my phone at night. So like it dies all day long. And then I don't charge it at night when she's not here because she's the one that puts it on the charger for me.
I just made a hot coffee and I almost want to throw it in my own face. Like, did
I've
you
got-
hear what he said there before he gave an explanation, which was half a whatever? He said, I don't charge my phone at night because Asia's in Tampa. Like, did you hear that when it came out of his mouth?
Was that
Do you
English?
understand that my wife reminds me to put my phone on the charger, and if she's not at home, then it kind of like my life kind of.
But doesn't your phone remind you to put itself on the charger? The battery icon gets lower, and then it's in red, and then it gives you a warning: 20%, 10%.
I don't
Low
think about it.
Mode.
She for 16 years, she always says, "Hey, put your phone on the charger before we go to bed." I've been spoiled.
Throw this coffee in my face. Just do me a favor. I want you to walk over here. Anyway, Coach Jim Larrañaga is going to be honored tonight at the Watsco Center, and we are going to be there and support our friend. And they play FSU tonight as well. The Canes game tonight, I believe Joe Zagacki is going to join us today, is on AM 560.
Yes.
Because Heat and Kings is on the FM tonight. Another late night start for the Miami Heat. Maybe they can get things right after last night. In fact, let's do headlines with Solana so that we have enough time with Joe Zagacki this hour. Headlines brought to you by Doral Volkswagen, home of the Pricito, our lowest price. Visit them at Doral Volkswagen or DoralVolkswagen.com.
I do want to start with the Canes. I want to read you guys a tweet. This is from Gabby Uridia. He covers the Canes, and really he's a solid insider for 247 Sports in terms of recruiting news. But he tweeted out earlier this morning, he said, if I told you Mark Fletcher was going to run for 112 yards and 2 touchdowns, Malachi Toney was going to have over 110 yards and a touchdown, Miami would be the more explosive offense, 6.5 versus 4.4 yards per play over Indiana. Miami would have 3 sacks and 6 tackle for losses, IU with only 1 of each. Mendoza would only throw for under 200 yards, 0 passing touchdowns. What would you have predicted the result of the game? And he finishes off the tweet with, frustrating that Miami handled business in every phase but one.
Special teams. Special teams. You said it at the beginning of the show. I mean, you don't have to be a football savant to be able to pinpoint a moment in time last night that may have changed the outcome of a national championship game. It's a bitter pill to swallow. And I know every football player, everybody on the team will say the same thing. You know, there's no one moment, there's no one player, but we all watched it. And the Carter Davis missed field goal, you know, the doink. Like, need every point that you can get against that team. But you're still in it at the end. It's, you know, you've played long enough to know, like, mistakes are going to happen throughout a game. But if you can be in a position at the end to control your own destiny, that's what every team, basketball, football, hockey, that's what every team will tell you they want at the end. Let us be in the position to control our own destiny when it comes to the dub or the L. And they were in that position, just couldn't get it done.
It's why in NFL, the quarterbacks make the most money. It's why now, it's funny to say this, but in college, the quarterback makes the most money. Because those great quarterbacks are going to give you that 1-minute drive, go put 7 on the board and win the game. But last night you saw 10 points taken off or put on the board, taken off for 3 and then put on the board with the 7 touchdown block punt. That cannot happen in a game. It's almost great that the Canes were still in the game after those 2 mishaps. It kind of shows you, that's what I kind of asked Gino, like, I saw on Twitter and I heard people questioning, you know, Cristobal and those guys. I'm like, bro, they called a hell of a game. That damn number 87 needed to do his job on block or punt block. That's what it was.
They're showing the replays right now of all the punts that Miami got off earlier in the game, and they're gonna cap it off here on ESPN2 right now.
Here it is.
The one that,
look at that. It's almost like 87. It's almost like he almost waves him through. like
he's trying to get up. He's trying to get up to go make a tackle.
Correct. He's not considering that there might actually be a block because no one's coming to block the punt except a couple of guys.
But they've blocked numerous amount of punts this year.
But
they blocked the punt in the semifinals. They blocked the punt.
Has it always been on a punt block, though? Like on a formation where you're assuming they're coming? Like, I think 87 got lulled into this sense of complacency of, oh, 3 guys are coming. There's no problem. He's going to get the punt off.
He got some choice words out of me last night. I'm not going to lie to you.
I think a lot of Canes fans. I don't think you're the only one.
I bring this up. I think it's newsworthy, so I think we should cover it. After the game, Mark Fletcher had a phenomenal game. There were 2 moments that were caught on camera. One, he was with Mendoza. They were exchanging pleasantries, hugging each other, congratulating each other. And then there was also a video of him throwing a punch at an Indiana Hoosier player. I don't know if either of you have a take on that one way or the other. We don't know what was said, but, not the best look after the game from somebody who really was the MVP of the team throughout the CFP.
He's a quality dude, too. Something got
Right.
said to him. Like, he is a quality dude.
I don't know Mark Fletcher personally, but to Hawk's point, somebody said something disrespectful, and he's not going to take the disrespect. He doesn't even strike me as a guy that's going to fight and try to get back off the field from on the field. So,
something not said. Something.
Yeah, you called my mom something, and now you need to be punched in the face. Old school rules.
The Miami Dolphins, they've hired Packers defensive coordinator Jeff Hafley. Couched underneath the college football championship game yesterday, the Dolphins made their head coaching hire official. Stephen Ross released a statement, quote, "I believe great things are ahead for the Miami Dolphins with Hafley leading the way. He's an accomplished coach with a proven track record as a leader and motivator. He has tenacity. He has grit, while at the same time establishing trust with his players in order to get the most out of them."
I would submit to you this. Next season, the Miami Dolphins season is going to be one of the most uninteresting, boring seasons we have sat through in a while. Mike McDaniel, there was a little vibe of interest because we knew, remember when he was coming here, he had rap quotes at his press conferences. We'd never seen a head coach like that. Tua was still a thing. Tyreek Hill is on the roster. I have a feeling next season, everyone knows you're looking at what, a 6-11 season. I mean, there's no real hope for much of that. So it's already going to be a boring season. It's going to probably be a bridge season for quarterback. And this is his first season as a head coach. The cap constraint is heavy. I just think it's going to be a very bland, blah season. It's not even like, North Carolina in college football. Terrible season. But you've got Bill Belichick and the girlfriend, and you like this just seems to me like we are headed towards a really boring, bland season. Not to say that you won't see the building blocks for the future of something great or that it won't be the start of something great. I just have a feeling next season in particular is going to be very boring and uninteresting.
You just said it. This is a change of culture and setting a foundation, and foundations and stability is very boring. So they hired a foundation stability guy, and that's boring as hell. I wanted to go offense because you have to score points, but the comfort level of Green Bay with the GM and head coach I like, but Hawk, I think you hit it on the head. We win 6. We should be happy.
It's like you talk about building a house. So if you're building a home, you're going to take pictures and show your friends when walls are going up or a roof is there. It's not the laying of the foundation. It's the most boring part of the construction process is the laying of the now. It's extremely important, but the most important, but the most boring part visually and entertainment wise is the laying of the foundation.
Yeah. Hey, Hawk, check out this cement, bro.
Yeah, exactly. Right. I see it. It's coming. And that's right. That's about it.
Yeah.
Well, I'd like to go on record. If that is the course that they take, we'll see. We'll find out. Don't win 6 games. Win less. I'm already on that train.
But when you say if that's the course they take, is there another option? What's the other option?
It's probably the only option, but I still think we've seen it in the NFL. Quicker turnarounds. They can go out. They can get Malik Willis.
Right. I'm not saying there can't be a quick turnaround, but to think that next season, when they have all these salary cap, when all this cap dead money, like I just don't see how. Maybe you get Malik Willis and he's good, but is he Patrick Mahomes?
No, I'm with you. I'm not saying that they're going to be Super Bowl contenders next year, but I wouldn't put it past any NFL organization to go from where the Dolphins are at, cap hell, to somehow, for whatever reason, competing in a playoff for a playoff spot next year. Again, I'm not suggesting they will. I'm just saying if you're not, then don't do this thing where you win 6 or 7 games again. Like if next year's a bridge year, be the Saints. Be the Titans this year. Be the Raiders this year. Go all in. Do it the right way, not how they did it in 2018, which is where they won 5 games and they screwed themselves out of a generational quarterback. Put yourself in the best position to have a elite draft pick the following year and don't get back on the hamster wheel.
We've actually, us three have talked about this through the years. How do you do that with a first-time head coach that has to prove himself and with a bunch of young guys that are underpaid? How do you tell them don't win 6 games, Solana?
He doesn't have to prove himself because we just told you.
How do you tell a roster don't win 6 games?
You don't tell the roster don't win 6 games, but you literally trade half the roster.
You construct the roster so it's impossible to win. I understand it, but that literally means getting rid of everyone, Devon Achane and the like. And I don't think they're at that point. I'm
with you. Yeah, I'm with you, but I'm telling you where I'm coming from.
Yeah, I just don't think that's reality.
What Stephen Ross chose to do here was to strip it all down, which, by the way, I asked for. I'm not complaining. I don't even have a take on any of these hires. I'm willing to see it play out, which I think should be how most Dolphins fans feel about this. Fine. These are your selections for likely your last rebuild of this organization. I'm willing to see it play out. But next year, do it the right way. You stripped it all down. Be bad for a year. Put yourself forward by putting yourself backward for a year.
And the Titans were terrible, and they had the first pick of the draft, so now they're rebuilding. But I would say the Raiders, they went and hired Pete Carroll and went and paid Geno, and were still terrible. Yeah. You know, like the thought you're saying, I understand the concept of it, but it's way harder to do that.
It's a lot harder to pull off because the people who are out there in the coaching, no one's ever going to try to lose a game, period, end of story. Again, you can construct a roster that makes it difficult to win games, but that doesn't mean it's going to work.
Couple other notes in the NFL. The Titans, speaking of the Titans, they hired Robert Saleh as their head coach.
All right.
The Steelers are set to interview Brian Flores today for head coach. I also read they're going to interview Mike McCarthy tomorrow for the head coaching vacancy.
I think I saw Mike McDaniel was interviewed today by the Raiders, maybe. Did anybody see that?
As a head coach?
I think so.
Well, he's not going to be the offensive coordinator in Detroit, which a lot of people were linking him to that job. They hired somebody else.
Although I did see something that was interesting that said he's not a culture fit for Dan Campbell's team. Like as interesting as it might have been to see Mike McDaniel take over for Ben Johnson, a season removed from Ben Johnson, when you realize that maybe Ben Johnson was the key to that Detroit offense, Mike McDaniel's style doesn't really jibe with Dan Campbell's style, you know.
Dan Campbell would pee in his off-white ones.
Polar opposites, like just polar
but
opposites.
I think that is why Mike McDaniel perhaps may have been interested in that position from the standpoint of let me go see how a different type of competitor, a different type of coaching style could benefit my coaching style moving forward. I think that's why a lot of people thought they would be a good fit for one another from the standpoint of McDaniel could absorb a lot of knowledge for his next opportunity.
Yeah.
And Anthony Weaver.
I think a zebra has its stripes. Speaking of why Tennessee hired Robert Saleh, because he's very Mike Vrabel-ish, and they saw success with Mike Vrabel. Like, if you want a Mike McDaniel, you get a Mike McDaniel. You can't make Mike McDaniel Mike Vrabel. It's just not going to happen. They're not that person.
Anthony Weaver, our defensive coordinator, He's interviewing for the Baltimore Ravens head coaching vacancy today. Remember, he has history there. He played there, and he was a coordinator there as well.
All right.
The Hurricanes play tonight. They host FSU, as Hoch mentioned, on AM 560. And the Miami Heat play the Sacramento Kings tonight. No Keegan Murray for Sacramento. I'm still waiting for the Heat's injury report. Tyler Hero didn't even travel for this road trip, so he is out. The Panthers are off.
I guess the line on tonight's game, you have
until
any idea?
Thursday. My guess is the Heat are slight favorites, but Sacramento torched them when they played on December 6th here in Miami. Zach LaVine had 42 points that game, and they've won 4 of their last 5. They were also off yesterday, so wouldn't shock me if the Kings are maybe 2-point favorites, 2.5 point favorites.
Heat are 3.5-point favorites.
Yeah.
A little bit bigger than I thought.
Man, Bam can drop 4 again tonight, maybe.
What was his line? I don't know what his stat line was yesterday.
4.
He missed his first 11 shots.
Stop it. He ended with 4.
Missed his
4.
first 11 shots. Finished 1 of 13
Stop it.
from the field. 1 of 13,
He finished with 4?
Draymond Green didn't even play yesterday. Draymond Green didn't play. You wouldn't even know who started at center.
That's funny.
Huh. If this isn't Hustle Man stats, I don't know what Hustle Man stats are. 4 points, 12 rebounds, 3 assists. He's Hustle Man. Our number 1 is Hustle Man.
Those are UD stats. By the way, you're talking about
in 2021.
By the way, Crowder, you're talking about the Eastern Conference Player of the Week last week, right?
That's the guy.
You know, right? You're talking about the Eastern Conference Player of the Week last week, huh?
And last week he went 29, 22, 30.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I want, Solana. I want the Eastern Conference Player of the Week. That's what I want.
I'm not defending him.
Guess who's back tonight, by the way?
4? Josh Giddey?
Josh Giddey! Josh Giddey is back for the Bulls.
Who do they play tonight?
They've got the Clippers. Giddey over under 14.5. I don't know if he's on any kind of minutes restriction or not.
Well, Billy Donovan, everybody's on a minutes restriction.
Yeah, that's true. Matas Buzelis, 13.5 tonight. And it's in Chicago. Bulls are 3.5-point favorites over the Clips.
Well, let me know what we betting, fellas, because I got a lot of green on this board right now.
Giannis is on ESPN. I want to get into the Giannis. He's calling himself the villain now, and it's adorable.
It's adorable.
Yeah,
I want to pinch his cheeks.
Your weather in South Florida right now, it is partly cloudy. It's in the 70s, and as Hoch mentioned to me earlier, it'll be in the 60s later tonight. I can neither confirm nor deny that.
Joe Zagacki is going to join us in the next segment. We'll talk some Canes football with him. We can talk about the basketball game tonight as well. He'll be on the call for that. Look, it is great to be a Miami Hurricane. That doesn't mean that it went our way last night, but I am telling you, if you don't get some merch to commemorate what was the greatest season in 20-plus years for the Miami Hurricanes, you are doing yourself and your family a disservice. And that's why you got to get to Caneswear. I don't know if you were at Caneswear during the weekend leading up to the game last night. That place was Canes Central. And again, while it didn't go our way last night, first of all, Caneswear thanks Canes fans everywhere for the amount of support they showed via Caneswear. But you really need to do yourself a favor and commemorate this great season with some new merch, whether it's regular Canes merch or college football playoff merch. It's all there at Caneswear. And you get there now and you commiserate with some sad Canes fans. I saw some heartfelt messages posted by Brett over at Caneswear today on social media. I mean, listen, we wanted it to end with a natty. It doesn't, but still, you got 4 postseason games. You had the natty in your grasp. It was a tremendous season. So get over to Caneswear in Davie. They've got everything: shirts, hats, jerseys, shorts, hoodies for you and the entire family. And if you're ready to move on already, maybe you want to get some Canes hoops gear. Maybe you want to get some Panthers gear. Maybe you want to get Heat gear. Maybe you're ready for Marlins gear already. Hey, we're just a couple months away from spring training. I mean, it's all there. No rest for the weary. It's all right there at Caneswear. You know, you can go get Messi or Inter Miami merchandise there. Anybody see Messi shopping at a store yesterday for Hurricanes gear, just shopping by himself, buying Canes gear. He should have gone to Caneswear, but it's not in his area. But he was just shopping like a normal person.
Normal person.
And I don't know if you saw it. Today, he returned it all. I saw him at the return line. Bandwagon fan. But regardless, they do. They've got everything Canes and Heat and Marlins and Panthers and Inter Miami. It's all at Caneswear in Davie, but you got to commemorate what was a great season. So go visit the store. They're on University Drive right next to La Spada's in Davie, or shop online at caneswear.com. Caneswear, the spot South Florida sports fans shop.
This is Hoch, Crowder, and Solana.
I have a package
Corn
of
dog.
frozen corn dogs in my freezer right now as we speak.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Though it
I can't hear you. Should I be able to hear you? That's a problem. What am I doing wrong? Nope. I can read your lips. I'm all plugged in. I've got everything working, but I can't hear you. Can you hear me?
What about now, Joe? Can you?
Now I can.
Awesome. That was on our end. That's my fault. We're live on the stream, just so you know. But
Okay.
I just wanted to double check that everything sounds good.
Okay, I'm here. Sound okay?
Yeah, it sounds great.
Okay.
All right, we're gonna be back in. We've got about 1:30 left in commercials plus traffic, so about 2 minutes.
Okie dokie.
All right, thanks, Joe. Appreciate you.
Yep, anytime.
I'm gonna put you behind the scenes now, and then you're not gonna hear anything until Jimmy brings us back up. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, Joe. I took us out of.
Hi, Joe Zagacki here.
I mean, the wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald, Jimmy? It's not that sad. Wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald, maybe if they lost, 48-3. I mean, let's not is on the Toyota of Hollywood hotline. Longtime voice of the Miami Hurricanes, and he was on the call last night. He'll be on the call tonight, by the way, for Hurricanes basketball, which will be on AM 560. We will be at the game. They're honoring Coach Larinaga at the game, and Joe Zagacki is going to introduce time and be a whole festive thing. But let's talk football first, Joe Z. I'll start with a larger question rather than actual game question. What will this 2025 season mean for the Hurricanes football program in the grand scheme of things now that it is all over?
Well, I think probably that's to be decided, right? It's kind of like if you win a big game, then the next week you have to win another game to make the previous one meaningful. So I think in order to make this season as meaningful as we all feel right now, that going forward, you have to continue to stack up, postseason play, great seasons, 10-win seasons. They've set a standard. I'm not going to say, get to the national championship every year. This new playoff system, it's damn near impossible to, go back to back or whatever, Miami did back in the 80s and 90s. But I think in order to make this one meaningful, then you stack another one on it and one behind that. And you just try to keep winning 10 games and keep your program relevant. And the more times you get into the playoff, then sooner or later you're going to break through, unless you're the Buffalo Bills.
And Joe, is this a glass half full or fairy tale thought? Is like Texas A&M game was one possession, Ole Miss one possession, and then you wanted to get down to a one possession game, having the ball, minute left to win it, and you didn't win it. But it's like watching that football game lesson. I know calling it, as long as you've been a Canes fan and calling games, I don't know if it feels that way, but does it feel that way where that's exactly how the game is supposed to be when you're playing top level football?
Yeah, I mean, every time you advance in the playoff, you're going to play a team that's even better. That's right. Every time, the deeper you get, the better the opponent is going to be. And Texas A&M, great opponent, tremendous game, great effort by Miami. Ohio State, that was another level. And then Ole Miss, I thought that was another level. And last night was just an all-out slugfest. I thought it was a great game. I originally walked out of the stadium with my wife, and I felt pretty good. Like, well, that was a hell of a game. I think we did it, justice personally with the call and all that stuff. So you had kind of two agendas there. And but then I woke up this morning and felt really bruised, But the game was there to be won for the University of Miami. It was a tug of war for both teams to get to their identity. And Indiana got to theirs quicker than Miami got to their identity. Indiana fought back to get to where they want to be. And at the end of the game, you're sitting there down 27-21 with the ball, a chance to win the national championship in the West End zone. And frankly, I thought they were going to win it. I thought he was going to find a way to win the game. I thought it was going to go to Tony. When the pass left his hand, I didn't feel great about it. It just kind of seemed like it hung up there. And even when he threw it, just seemed like there wasn't something right between he and Marion, that Marion after the game said he didn't look for the ball. The irony is Sharp intercepts the pass. I didn't realize this one. I knew he was from Northwestern. It's also Glenn Sharp's nephew, who was called for the pass interference penalty in the Ohio State game. I think at the end of the game, if I'm going to be a second guesser, I would have liked to have seen him maybe nickel and dime a few more plays down the field to get a little bit closer and maybe see if they could get the ball somehow into the hands of Malachi Tony. And Shannon, you were right. Every time Tony moved. You saw all these hand signals from Indiana. He moved here, he moved there. They got this signal, he got that signal. It looked like they were, doing the chicken dance at a wedding. And so they're trying to surround him. But he still was over 100 yards in receiving. And I would have loved to have seen them get maybe, inside the 30. I thought they could have done that with a couple of shots and maybe somehow get the ball to Tony. But great game. Came down to a block punt, missed field goal. And the other one that people are forgetting about is when Ohio State kicked the field goal to take a 3-0 lead. The play before that, Frederic has the ball in his hands and drops the interception. I thought he probably should have come down with it or could have come down with it.
So
that's 13 points.
You would agree, Joe, that ultimately the Hurricanes played well enough to win. We've been saying this. They played well enough to win despite, a shaky first half from the offensive side of the football, outside of 2 special teams blunders, while Indiana, they were the team they were all season, just mistake-free football.
Well, no, they didn't play well enough to win because they didn't win. And ultimately, the game was going to be Miami's strength and power against the execution of Indiana. And we talked about it a lot, that Miami was going to have to match the execution of Indiana. And they didn't. They made too many little mistakes. Hoch referenced it earlier. Malachi Tony takes the punt inside the 5. Well, 3 plays later, you got a blocked punt. First series of the second half, you have a sack. You knock them down. It's a 3rd down. They surrender their series. The first series, they surrender. They hand the ball off on 3rd and 17, and you get a face mask. So it didn't result in any points, but it did result in field position, right? It moved the ball forward. I think Miami scored after that. But it was little things like that in the game that continued to hurt Miami. The back shoulder throws, they converted, what were they, 50% on the mighty downs, 3rd and 4th down? I think Miami was a swing and a miss on the first 8 third down conversions, 0 for 8.
Did you have nightmares about back shoulder throws? I did.
Yeah. Well, guy made 2 great throws, and Becker made the catches. O'Connor just kind of, I don't know, Channy, you would know better than me. It was like he was going full speed, thought he had him covered, and then whoops, magic trick. The ball comes up 2 yards short, and he makes the catch, and those were big.
That seems impossible. Crowder can speak to it. That seems impossible to cover because you're not. I don't know how you can stop that. I mean, they couldn't, but it seems impossible to cover.
You actually are supposed the concept is to lean on them so your body is controlling their body, so you can go back and you can run with them and also go back. But it's the concept makes sense, but it's hard as hell to do in full speed.
Thing about Indiana, they just played. They are a remarkable story because they played the same way in every game all year. Now they're older and they understand what Cignetti was able to do was import a culture. When he came from James Madison, he imported everything. So that made it a little bit easier. But hell, the field goal kicker, he missed. The first kick he missed this season was his 2nd kick of the year. And from that point on, he never missed a kick. They had 11 defensive penalties all season. And I heard you guys talk about it earlier. They almost blew the game with the offsides penalty or the false start late and the late hit on Carson Beck. That was their 12th defensive penalty of the season. That's it. So they just played at this steady level all season long. I think the first fumble they lost was early in the season. They had put the ball on the ground 8 times. They recovered the rest of them. And Mendoza only threw a handful of interceptions. So they were able to play their game longer and better than Miami was able to play their game by a hair's breadth.
And Joe, was there any schematic problems? Because I've been defending the coaches all day with Heatherman coming out with those edge pressures. Shannon Dawson, him getting into the run and trying to get the pass and get the bubble screens, and saw how they were covering Malachi and stop the bubble screens. Like I think the chess match was beautiful, and I don't think they got out coached. I think that they were coaching, and it was 2 heavyweight coaching battles as well. Do you have any criticism of any decisions that were made from Mario and his staff?
No, I don't. I did in the Ole Miss game, but no. I thought, if you're going to go after the coaching in this game, that's low-hanging fruit. That's just, kind of a simple or lazy answer. That this was both teams. These guys know each other well. Heatherman's on that. Heatherman was in the wedding of the offensive coordinator, or vice versa. So these guys know each other well. I did think that both sides were a little bit cautious in the first half. They don't want to lose the game in the first half, right? So I thought they were a little bit cautious. That being said, Miami was trying to get to what Miami does, overpower them, and see if Indiana could stand up to the physicality and run all of those stunts and run their defense as flawlessly as they have against Miami, as they did against everybody else. And after one half, the answer was, yeah, they were able to do that. So Miami had to make a few more adjustments. If I was to make a small criticism, they didn't have the ball. So maybe Miami could have thrown the ball a little bit more in the first half. Maybe they could have played tighter coverage to work on some of those perimeter throws. But I really think without Lucas, Miami was going to say, look, Indiana, you go the length. We're going to play the same game you play. Both sides are like, you go the length of the field without making a mistake. We're going to take our chances, Miami, on defense. We're going to hit the hell out of your quarterback. I told you guys last week that I thought Mendoza would get hit as hard as he's ever been hit. And I think he was. I mean, they bloodied his lip there early on.
Signetti was pissed at halftime. Did you see his halftime interview?
Oh, yeah.
ESPN.
Well, listen, he was working the refs the entire first half. And so maybe Miami's plan was, let me say, Miami's plan was to make him uncomfortable. However they were going to do it, they made him tried to make him uncomfortable. He responded with an unbelievable championship play, ping-ponging into the end zone. And then
were you surprised they went for it in that situation? I couldn't believe it.
No, God, I was hoping he was going to kick the field goal. I was like, oh, please.
He had the field goal team out there.
I know.
He called timeout.
He was vacillating. He didn't know what and then I couldn't believe that they ended up going for it.
He got me a little confused. He was way on the other end of the field, and I'm looking, and I see 15. 15's also the kicker. I thought, oh, we're going to kick the field goal. We kind of a win for Miami on this drive. And then he sends him out there. I thought, man, this is the play. And you could see the quarterback draw unfolding. I think it was Scott. They got a block on, and he was able to kind of weave around him. He got the first down. I thought, well, he got the first down, and then, damn, he lunges, 3 yards for a touchdown through 3 guys. So hats off to him. It was a great play, great call. That's the way the game went. Miami answered, though, right? They came right back, and they answered. So I thought the goal line touchdown with Mark Fletcher was a spectacular call. Tony's going this way. Fletcher's going that way. Indiana's doing the chicken dance out there, and Fletcher walks in. Just needed one more play. That's all. One more play from the championship. It's heartbreaking.
What a night. Don't you have to get down to the Watsco Center? Looks like you're in your home office.
Well, I have to get there because I travel from where Crowder lives up here, and, the Palmetto is never friendly.
It just seems a little bit late. It's 3:46. What time do you want to be down there?
Well, normally, Hoch, I get there like by 5:15, but for you guys, I'm rolling the dice.
All right.
Otherwise, I would have had to do this from the car, and I wanted to see your friendly faces.
I appreciate you being a consummate professional. That's why we appreciate Joe Zagacki.
Joe, I just looked on the maps, and if people don't know this, me and Joe literally live a minute from each other. You got about 50 minutes. So if you leave right now, you get there at 4:36.
How about that?
Pull the plug.
We'll see you tonight. So they're honoring Coach L tonight?
They're going to honor Coach L. They have a little ceremony before the game, and then at halftime, Coach L and I are going to I'm going to ask him a couple of questions.
A little Q&A, a little live
Q&A. Hope people listen to it. I don't know. At halftime, people.
It's not for the Watsco Center. It's for the radio.
No, it's the Watsco Center.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, right. I'm saying the Q&A will be broadcast live at the in other words, you're going to do it on the court.
That's what I'm told. Center court.
All right. Where do you want me to stand?
Yeah, right next to me. Come on out.
Yeah. All right. That's what
I'll introduce you.
Should I prepare some questions?
You can, but the over under on the amount of questions we get to Coach L.
Yeah,
Coach L got 5 minutes.
Yeah,
so everybody's betting how many questions you're going to get to, and I said, well, maybe 2. So we
Yeah.
can split it if you want, Hawk.
All right, fair enough. All right, Joe Zagacki. You can listen to him tonight, AM 560, Canes and FSU. We move immediately on to basketball.
Yeah.
Canes, FSU tonight from the Watsco Center on AM 560. Heat game will be on FM 104.3. See you down there tonight, Joe.
Okay, thank you, fellas. Bye-bye.
There you go, Joe Zagacki. Always enjoyed talking to him. Better mood than I thought he would be, but he seemed to be understanding of, like Crowder said, you got the two best teams in college football. It's a back and forth thing. You take their best shot, you give them your best shot, and someone at the end walks away.
Do I sound? Because I got a tweet that said they're like, "Oh, you're this whole half glass half full butterfly guy." I'm like, no. Did you watch the game? That was an amazing football game. You just ended on the wrong side. If there were 4 minutes left, I think the Canes could have won because there would be no push. There'd be no time difference. Like, that's what football's supposed to come down to.
Yeah, I enjoyed last night. Didn't enjoy the outcome, but I enjoyed the actual game. 4 o'clock hour is coming up. We're going to talk Dolphins hire in the 4 o'clock hour with Chris Perkins from the Sun Sentinel. It is the beginning of the year, and this is the perfect time to visit International Jewelers Exchange. When you got a little holiday spending cash laying around, and you want to find something special for yourself or someone you love at International Jewelers Exchange, maybe a timepiece or some diamonds, gold, custom-made jewelry, and then less than a month away from Valentine's Day. So if you get started now, you can give her the gift she's been dreaming of. Imagine you give her a Valentine's Day gift that she will cherish forever, something special, more special than you've ever done. The place to make it happen is International Jewelers Exchange. Got over 40 years in business and 3 South Florida locations. And if you've never stepped foot in the International Jewelers Exchange before, go for a visit. There's more than 150 individual jewelers to choose from. They're all family owned and operated. It's under one roof, and you literally will be able to find anything you're looking for. Even if you want to custom design a piece of jewelry, that's no problem at International Jewelers Exchange. So go visit, start your Valentine's shopping now. This is how you make a gift that gets remembered forever. There's 3 locations for International Jewelers Exchange: Aventura, block south of Aventura Mall; Boca Raton on Glades, just west of the Turnpike; and Boynton Beach at Boynton Beach Boulevard and Military Trail. The International Jewelers Exchange, unbeatable by design.
You're listening to the Hoch, Crowder, and Solana Show.
Text threads are meant for pictures of Jimmy's hot dog.
PM and we back on the clock, so don't get cutesy. Dog lead the station unlocked. We got the sports talk and the drama to make sure the T-clock. WQAM is the Avengers with no weak spot. For Joe Rose, Woody Bo, Omar and Moore, Tobin and Leroy giving goosies galore. Yeah, for 2 to 6 is reserved for 3 legends. The captains of America, not no Chris Evans. From Spritz to McRibs and calling out game scores. Hotman, Crowder, Solana. Get ready for some more.
I'm ready. Ready for some more. Hour number 4. Ready for some more. Chris Perkins is going to join us this hour. We've got tickets. 5 Finger Death Punch is coming to, I Think, Financial Amphitheater in October, and we will give away a pair of tickets every day this week. It's a Live Nation show. We have not given them away yet today, so sometime in the next hour and 57 minutes, we will give them away. 15 minutes of heat on WQAM is sponsored by Doral Kia, home of the Pricito, our lowest price. Visit them at Doral Kia or DoralKia.com. Heat tonight. They're on a West Coast road trip. Heat tonight, 10 p.m. tip, which means 8:45 preheat with Alejandro Solana. Heat right now, through 43 games, Solana, are 22-21. They're the 8 seed. They lost to Golden State last night. No Steph, right?
Steph played.
Oh, he did play?
Draymond Green was out.
Okay. And then obviously we know Jimmy Butler was lost for the season for Golden State. What is the best case scenario for the Heat in the second half of the season? Because I'm kind of looking at who they are and what we thought they were, and maybe we all got fooled a little bit by the run at the beginning. And I was trying to figure out what's the best case scenario for the second half of the season.
Trade deadline.
Well, I that was one of my options. Like I was thinking to myself, is the best case scenario you get back to that scoring punch and it comes together again for a second phase the way that it did, and maybe you're the 5 or 6 seed, or maybe you get the 4 seed, or is the best case scenario they say it ain't this and we've got to make some changes?
You can go, Solana. You probably know my opinion, but what do you think?
No, I don't think my opinion would differ wildly from either of your opinions. Look, through 41 games, you were 21-20, the exact same spot you were last year. I mean, there's some bright spots. You beat Phoenix at home. That's a really good Western Conference team. You beat Oklahoma City the other night. That's a really good Western Conference team. But the flip side to that is, teams like Sacramento blew you out last night in Golden State. You got blown out, and your best player in Bam regresses once again. Best case scenario, in my mind, if they keep the roster intact, Hoch, they don't make changes, would be maybe finishing better than 21-20 the remaining 41 games. They're 1-1 through the first 2. But yeah, 6 seed in my mind right now, from what I've seen, is best case scenario. And maybe first round you get a favorable matchup, maybe, and you can get to the second round. But this team's not contending for a title this year. And I'd be hard-pressed to find Heat fans who aren't saying, why not look to move some guys who would have some value at the trade deadline to truly make this, what Spoke called it coming into the year, a developmental year, because you're in a position now where they're trying to win games, and the guys you want to develop, Khalil Ware, are playing 16 minutes a game. And I don't know how favorable that is when ultimately, best case scenario, in my mind, your second round exit.
Right.
And that's what I would say. It's kind of what we talked about with the Dolphins earlier, where Solana, you're saying don't go 7-7-9. Like, it's a waste of time. If you're going to be bad and build. So that's my thing. Triple J, even Tyler Hero, those guys, like, they're not going to take you over the top. So if they have some value right now, I think Triple J, I think Khalil Ware, being as young as he is, try to move something around and plan for the future with them. Why get the 6 seed? To your point, Solana, get the 6 seed losing the second round. Why do that? get in the play in, get whooped by somebody, and let's build for the future, because this roster is not going to compete with those top teams in the NBA right now.
6 seed is maybe 5 seed. Like, that's best case scenario. And look, they're just not healthy. Tyler has a rib injury right now.
This season's toast for
I mean,
him.
we don't even and the injuries he's had are just like, he had surgery with an extra bone in his foot he didn't even know about. Then he has a toe contusion that keeps him out another stretch of games, and then now he's not even traveling. And again, it's like a pain tolerance thing with this rib contusion that he has, and you don't know. So now he's played 5 games starting with Norman Powell. Like, is it ever going to work? It worked for 1 game thus far. Look, if what I think they want to do is make a push for Giannis next offseason, that Giannis is just going to be done with Milwaukee and he's going to want to move. And in my opinion, the best way to do that is to send Milwaukee a boatload of picks that right now the Miami Heat do not have. And how do you get picks at this deadline? You move some of the guys that could maybe garner you some picks. I don't think the Heat are going to do that. I don't think they're going to trade Norm. I don't think they're going to trade Tyler. I don't think they will. But if you really think Giannis is an opportunity in the offseason,
it's like what they did with LeBron. You got to start planning for it a year and a half, way out, and that would signify to me that, hey, we're stockpiling picks for a reason, and we're going to take another swing.
Because, man, like, I love Norm. I think he's perfect for the Miami Heat. Really, I do. But you're going to pay him in the offseason to do what? To be this?
Right.
And letting him walk for nothing, in my opinion, would be a grave mistake. So I think they're going to be active at the deadline to try to improve this roster. I just don't know how realistic
or how much more improvement you can see.
And do you maybe take on, people are talking about Kuminga. I'm just throwing it out because he's been tied to the Heat. So you take on that contract, you just got an extension, and perhaps hinder your opportunity to remain flexible if Giannis becomes available. Or you're looking at, the Clippers might want to punt. Maybe Kawhi. I don't know. I'm just throwing names out there. But the NBA isn't how it was a couple years ago where, 2028, we'll have cap space and there's going to be free agents. It's not like that anymore. You have to trade for the whale. And how do you trade for the whale? You either send a whale like the Mavericks did, which was still the dumbest trade ever, or you have 6 first-round picks at your disposal that you can move. And right now, the Heat don't.
All right, let's get headlines here because I want to have time with Chris Perkins, talk about the new Dolphins head coach. Headlines are brought to you by Doral Volkswagen, home of the Pricito, our lowest price. Visit them at Doral Volkswagen or DoralVolkswagen.com.
This is from Victor Bermudez, the executive producer of the Miami Hurricanes radio broadcast. I had mentioned earlier to you guys the Mark Fletcher punch, and we all kind of were in the same boat. Something must have been said there. Vic, who I trust wholeheartedly not to send me, bogus information, he texted me, according to Mike Rumpf, who is a former Cane and the director of recruiting for Miami, he said that the Indiana player made a comment about Mark Fletcher's father, which is what led to the altercation.
Right. We know the story. His father passed away. His mother's been coming to all the games, and he texts his late father before every game. They showed it last night on the broadcast. I had seen that report several times too. Mark Fletcher didn't go off for no reason at the end of that game. He's too classy a guy. So that makes all the sense in the world to me. And if you say that, something like that to someone, you deserve to get swung on.
And I know it's a 2026 and this is the new age and all that stuff. If you talk bad about my deceased father, you deserve to get punched in the face.
Mm-hmm.
I'll back Mark Fletcher. I didn't hear that report. I'll back him 100%. I'll pay a fine if he has to pay a fine. That is immature. That is unhuman. That's ridiculous to talk about somebody's dead father.
Not sure if you guys saw this going viral. The Marlins historian account posted this, and I'm a sucker for like mid-2000s Marlins content. Like, I genuinely can't get enough of it. If I see Dan Uggla with a wad in his mouth, I'm watching that entire highlight. They tweeted out the last home playoff victory at Hard Rock Stadium, October 23rd, 2003. Marlins Game 5 victory at Pro Player Stadium over the Yankees in the 03 World Series.
That's amazing. Yeah, because there hasn't been one for the Dolphins. Wild.
You know, Dan Ugler's my friend.
I don't think so.
Well, I don't have his number, but
I think I have his number. I actually think I have Dan Ugla's number.
I talked to Danelle Ellerby this morning.
I do have Dan Ugla's number.
I don't.
Yeah. Let me shoot him a text, see what's going on.
I can call Chris Volstead.
Let me see if I have any text with him.
Hit him with like a sub Uggs.
Let me see if I have any text history with him. I do not. Yeah, the only thing, if I look at my text thread and I search Ugla, I only have one text that even references Dan Ugla, and it's from Solana last night. Signetti 100% those massive Ugla-esque dips when he's not on the sideline.
So he spoke right before the game. He spoke with I'm forgetting who the sideline reporter was, and the camera pans to them, and right before he answers his first question, I don't know if you guys saw this. He takes out the piece of gum like that. He takes it out. He just holds it in his hand. It was sitting just there in his bottom gum. He took it out, and then later in the game, they keep showing the close-ups after big Indiana games, and he's got that mean snarl. He doesn't show emotion. He just has that like mean snarl. It's pretty hard. I'm not gonna lie, but you see it in the corner of his lip, just this massive piece of gum.
He does that
he's got.
Hard gum chew too. He punishes that gum.
That's a replacement. I'm with Solana. That's a replacement for a big chew.
Yeah, for sure.
Dip.
He loves a big saw. Yeah.
Someone told him you can't dip on the sideline because you can't show the kids tobacco.
Yeah. Right.
So now he just shoves a bunch of Trident in his lip.
Text Dan Ugla, rank the Mount Rushmore of dip flavors, and see if you get a response. Like he may just like that's something he can't not answer.
Right. Doesn't matter. He doesn't know who it's from or whatever. It's just like, well, I have to answer that.
French onion, ranch, dill, garlic.
I would beg to differ, Hawk. I guarantee you'll get a response if you text him, bruh, 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 what's up? You'll get a response.
You think?
Bruh, what's up? You got to respond to that because that has to be my friend.
I don't know. What's he up to nowadays? Anybody know?
Just a lot of
Wish
school,
I knew, but I don't have his number.
Copenhagen.
Like
Wintergreen Grizzly.
Is he on like a staff or anything? Anybody know? Dan Ugla. Anybody think we'd be doing this today?
Just text him, bro. What's up?
Let's see. 45 years old, Dan Ugla.
He made. Remember, we looked up how much money he made. It was like almost $100 million or over $100 million. Probably living good, man.
I would imagine.
Probably has no bottom teeth anymore.
I dipped for 20 years. My teeth are fine.
Yeah, well, you had to get replacement teeth.
They're flying out every other day. My teeth are fine.
My teeth are good.
The Florida Panthers did lose yesterday to the San Jose Sharks 4-1. So here's the cool note on the goalie fights. Bob fought the Sharks goaltender. That was the first fight in his NHL career. Yesterday happened to be his 905th career NHL game.
It was really amazing to watch, and obviously you'd wish the Panthers won. I mean, they're having some tough times, but man, just watching Bob skate down the ice, the other goalie knows I got to fight now. And them actually going blow for a little bit, like it was great. Moeller was beside himself with excitement. The call from Moeller, he was beside himself with excitement watching that goalie fight, man.
Yeah, the other goalie ain't want no smoke. I saw it this morning. I didn't watch it last night. I saw it this morning. The other goalie, Hawk, you said he knew what had to happen, but he didn't want that.
You see the guy coming at you, and you can't do anything but stand there and wait for the fight to happen. Like you can't go anywhere.
And I heard Plagan's call as well, and Plagan was like, "Yeah, he's just grabbing him. He didn't want to swing. He didn't want nothing. Bob came down there with a purpose. this. It made me love Bob more than I already have.
In the NHL, according to Sportsnet, that's the first goalie fight since the Mike Smith-Cam Talbot fight in the Battle of Alberta in 2020. We all remember that one.
Oh,
yeah.
They were assessed 5-minute penalties for fighting and 2-minute penalties for leaving their creases.
I ain't leave too many creases.
The Heat, as we mentioned, got blown out. They're going to be in Sacramento tonight. The Hurricanes will host FSU 7 p.m. on AM 560. That's where you can listen to the game. Coach L will be honored tonight. The Canes did lose. Remember that 10-game win streak?
Yeah.
They lost to Clemson over the weekend. FSU stinks. They're 7-11. And the big Dolphins news, I know we'll talk about it now. They hired Packers defensive coordinator Jeff Hafley. He was the only candidate brought in for a second interview. He worked with JES, the Dolphins general manager, in Green Bay for the last 2 years. According to Schefter, it's a 5-year contract for Haf. And before he was coaching in Green Bay, he was the head coach at Boston College. He went 22-26 in 4 seasons.
All right.
I actually thought about that Solana's going to get this man a nickname. Half is a terrible nickname. Half.
Well, you can't call him Jeff.
I mean, I don't know.
If you want a nickname, we got to find something better. We got to ask him because Half is a terrible nickname.
You call him Lee?
H. Lee?
I don't know. JH? What's his first name?
Yeah, it doesn't work, JH.
No. I don't know. Half is just a half.
Maybe just H. Maybe just H.
Well, that's Haywood Highsmith.
That's true. We don't want to get them confused.
Bruh.
Before we break here, I'm gonna give Crowder the opportunity to break some news. According to one of our chatters here, Dolphins Thirsty, they sent a message to us. I heard on a podcast that some want Channing Crowder to be the Dolphins linebacker coach this year. Crowder, would you like to break any news? Or are you expecting a call from Half or H or Jeff or JH as a potential Dolphins linebackers coach this upcoming season?
I will actually tell y'all, I've had a number of opportunities with college and NFL teams when people get jobs asking me, because they know I love the X and O of it. Like the Canes game last night was beautiful to me because of X and O football. Like I love it. I'm not dealing with those kids. I'm not dealing with any of these dum-dums because nowadays these people are crazy. These little kids are more worried about likes than they're worried about tackles. I would never be a good coach nowadays.
And you have to work hard.
That should have probably led with that. I really don't like a good, strong work.
Could you
But
imagine?
man, I could have coached in 2000. I can't coach now with the new age kids. I can't deal with it.
Could you imagine Crowder on the sideline talk? You know, every coach now has a headset. They've got
tablet.
a tablet gear.
Yeah.
They're showing tape and film on like these Microsoft Edge tablets, and everything's digital nowadays. Crowder
Dry erase board.
Crowder
Coach
can't
Crowder
plug in
needs a
microphone.
dry erase. Coach Crowder wants a dry erase board and a pen.
Crowder can't plug in a microphone and connect to Wi-Fi for our show every day. All right, guys, your weather in South Florida right now. Sun's out here in El Portal.
How about that?
It's in the 70s tonight. It'll be in the 60s.
All right. Chris Perkins from the Sun Sentinel is going to join us in the next segment. We can ask him what Hafley's nickname is, if he's aware of what it is, and if he'll have a open line of communication with him to see if it's something that we could change. So, Chris Perkins, we talk about the new Dolphins head coach in a moment.
Y'all gotta go to Tabaret. It's the largest strip club in the world. Everyone talks about it. I've been going. Have it all. That's 18 hours of fun. That's 18 hours of entertainment. That's 18 hours of delicious food, great drink specials, everything you need. Half price drinks every single day till 8 p.m. $100 bottles food specials. And when I say the kitchen, when I talk about the food, I'm not just talking about a guy with a frying pan. It is a full kitchen. Chicken, steak, lobster, everything you want. You got to go to Tootsie's. Four large bars and secure parking. You are set. The sports bar in the back has pool tables. I'm telling you, get the Tootsies for football, basketball, baseball, hockey, soccer, MMA, UFC, any fight, any sporting event. They're going to be on dozens of TVs. And when it goes to commercial, there's always beautiful entertainers there to watch out for you, to entertain you while you're waiting for the game to start. Man, you got to get the Tootsie's Cabaret. Like I said, the food is delicious. The drinks are great. 18 hours of fun. You got to go to Tootsie's Cabaret. I've been there since over 20 years. I'll be going for another 20 years. Tootsie's Cabaret. You got to go to tootsiescabaret.com for more information.
This is Hoch, Crowder, and Solana.
You're not going to learn anything about sports on this show. I'm sorry. You're not. But I know McDonald's. That's a banger, Jimmy. Need more U2 on this show. All right. Chris Perkins is on the Toyota of Hollywood hotline. Before we talk football, I remind you the best place to get geared up is Caneswear in Davie. You're online at caneswear.com. Chris Perkins, a columnist for the Sun Sentinel, writes about the Dolphins. Dolphins have a new GM. Now they've got a new head coach. Both of them from the Green Bay Packers. Maybe a lot of people missed the news yesterday because it was kind of a big day in South Florida for football as it was. Do you think that was intentional, Perk? It wasn't how I was going to start, but Perk, do you think that was intentional to kind of let it fly under the radar? Or, hey, we've got him here and the other NFL teams don't care about when you announce a hire and we're not going to give anyone a chance to hire the guy who we want. So be it. It's national championship night, but we've got to make our announcement.
That was it. Hoch. Look, the story was that Jeff Hafley was on his way to Tennessee today, and he was one of the 3 finalists for the Titans job. So really, I think what it got down to for the Dolphins was don't let this man out of the building without a contract or without an agreement. And so that's basically what it came down to. I wish they would have just let UM have the stage alone, but the world doesn't operate that way.
Looks like we've lost our connection to Crowder. What do we know about? He had said that he wanted the next question, but then he froze on the screen. What do we know about Jeff Hafley? I mean, we know he comes from Green Bay, defensive coordinator. Like, what do we know about him?
We don't know a whole lot about him, Hawk. I think that the reason that I give this a thumbs up right now is because it looks like John Eric Sullivan, the GM, has conviction in this hire. Yeah, it's kind of a brother-in-law hire, right, that they worked together for Green Bay for the last 2 seasons. But it appeared that John Eric Sullivan never flinched when Sean McDermott got fired by Buffalo. Now, maybe McDermott had no interest in the Dolphins' job, but it appeared that the Dolphins were like, no, Hafley is our guy. I know McDermott is available, but Hafley is our guy. I don't know how it went down in the 7-person hiring committee, Hawk, and that's one thing that I want to find out. Was this unanimous? Was it a majority decision? Did John Eric Sullivan just kind of cowboy the process and say, my boy is going to be our choice? What did Troy Aikman think? Did Troy Aikman have a big voice in the final say? I kind of wonder how it all went down, but the fact that it appears Sullivan showed some conviction in his boy, he didn't flinch when McDermott came up, it makes me think that there's more conviction in this than meets the eye.
Perk, do you like the defensive hire? Because my thought was the quarterback, like you see the Ben Johnson, you've seen, all that other thing. Like the defensive guy, I was a big offensive guy fan.
Yeah, no, you know what, Crowder? What I wanted more than anything was the mentality and the attitude that this guy brings to the team and to the organization. Because I think the Dolphins under Mike McDaniel and Chris Greer, there was a lot of participation trophy mentality. There was a lot of let's be popular type stuff. I want a team that's bringing hard hats and lunch pails to work every day. I think a lot of your defensive coaches have that type of mentality. There's some offensive coaches, Sean McVay and all that, but I like kind of that Tomlin, Flores, Mike Vrabel type of mentality that defensive coaches seem to bring. So with me, it wasn't so much, are you offensive? Are you defensive? Do you have experience? Are you a first-time coach? Bring a butt-kicking mentality to that franchise. That, to me, is the number one thing by far.
Perk, this is the 8th straight head coach that the Dolphins hire with no previous head coaching experience in the NFL. Why would this be any different than the previous 8 that ultimately didn't have success in Miami?
I think that, you know what, Solana, we're seeing a lot of success in a lot of different fashions right now, right? Liam Cohen had no experience in Jacksonville. Ben Johnson had no experience in Chicago. Mike McDonald in Seattle. That's another defensive guy, by the way, Crowder. We're seeing it done different ways. Now, look, Aaron Glenn was a total disaster up with the New York Jets, right? But we are seeing it done a whole lot of ways. You don't have to have the experienced guy. You don't have to have the guy who has a Super Bowl like Mike McCarthy, right? He's still out there. You don't have to have anything. You just have to know how to make it work for your team in your situation. That's what I think is kind of exciting about what we're seeing in the NFL right now, is that, this is a landscape where you had coaches like Mike Tomlin and John Harbaugh unemployed at the same time for a brief period of time. You had quarterbacks like Patrick Mahomes and Lamar Jackson and Joe Burrow not in the playoffs. You're seeing some unknown guys do stuff and make their name known. Bo Nix, even though we know him, but he doesn't have very many skins on the wall. So I think the coach thing goes along with that, Solana, that we're seeing a lot of different ways to win. And so even if he's a first-time coach, that shouldn't be a deterrent. Just make sure you have the right guy.
And Perk, you bring up Bo Nix, and we know who's going to the conference championship games, the quarterback names, and who was playing last weekend. With Tua, Perk, what do you think? What should happen? I'll ask it this way. What should happen, and what do you think will happen with having a $50 million quarterback that got benched and a backup quarterback that got overpassed in Zach Wilson by a 7th-round quarterback and Quinn Ewers? This quarterback situation is crazy, and it has to be settled before the season starts next year.
You know what, Shannon? This is interesting. So this was my column today that hasn't posted yet. I asked, can you connect the dots to Malik Willis, the Green Bay dots, right? John Eric Sullivan, Jeff Hafley, Malik Willis, who's going to be a free agent. I'm sure that Green Bay is going to make him a priority to re-sign, but should the Dolphins pursue him, my thing is, you don't have to find your quarterback, your franchise quarterback, in 2026. Maybe you find him in 2027. But what I think should happen, I think they should cut Tua loose and make him a post-June 1st cut, absorb the $99 million in 2 years, $67 million this year, $32 million next year. You bring in a starter to compete with Quinn Ewers for the starting job. You do still have Cam Miller, the recently signed kid from North Dakota State, on the roster too. But you bring somebody in to compete with Quinn Ewers. If you want to draft a quarterback in the 3rd round, okay, go ahead. I'm not drafting one in the 1st and 2nd rounds because of who's available and my desire to build up the trenches. And then I see who's out there in the free agent market as far as quarterbacks, Crowder, but I let them play it out this year. This just doesn't seem to be the year to get married to a quarterback, either through free agency or the draft. So I let this season play out. I build up the trenches, and I put more of a priority on the quarterback in 2027 than I do in 2026.
Do you think this whole search worked out the way that Stephen Ross envisioned, Perk? Because I think I've brought this up to you before. I think if he really had planned on getting rid of Mike McDaniel, he wouldn't have been letting him do exit interviews. I think there would have been kind of this, hey, let's all take a deep breath for a week. Let's shelve the exit interviews. We'll start them a week later. Let's all recalibrate. We'll meet several times and we'll decide what the future is. I feel like he kind of made a rash decision when John Harbaugh became available. And I think he had so many voices in that room. You talk about the committee of 7, that maybe he got, I don't want to say bullied, but maybe got cajoled into making some changes that he wasn't really prepared to do. And if I said to you, when it's all said and done, he's going to end up with, what's his name? John Eric Sullivan?
JS.
Yep.
John Eric Sullivan and Jeff Hafley. I don't think Stephen Ross would have been happy with that or signed up for that. I think he would have been fine with the status quo before a couple of, hey, we'll give a shot to these 2 guys we've never heard of.
You know what, Hoch? I think you're right. Here's to me the most disturbing thing about this whole situation. It's not that, the story that Darren Waller told us, how Steve Ross came in while Darren Waller was having his exit interview with Mike McDaniel. I'm sure Mike McDaniel, through his time, has had to cut guys in very awkward fashion. These things don't always happen in a clean fashion. That's clumsy. My bigger concern is that Mike McDaniel still had a job on Thursday. Like you say, Hoch, he should have been fired the Monday of Black the morning of Black Monday. I don't see why Steve Ross was going to keep Mike McDaniel, and that is what worries me about the dysfunction in this organization, and it still exists. I don't know if they can overcome the Steve Ross dysfunction. That's just a flat-out bad decision. You were going to keep Mike McDaniel for whatever reason. You told the guy that he was going to have input on finding the next GM, and now all of a sudden he doesn't. This just doesn't smell right. So, look, I'm happy that they ended up eventually doing the right thing and making the clean sweep, and that they have some familiarity with the Green Bay GM hiring his boy from Green Bay as the head coach. That all kind of locks into place. We'll see what happens. But Hoch, I'm kind of with you. I don't think this is what Steve Ross envisioned. I think clumsily and shamefully and regretfully, he envisioned Mike McDaniel still being the head coach. That really, really worries me.
And Perk, you brought up Liam Cohen, where now the Jaguars, what do they have? 13 wins? Like that, he turned it around. Is that our hope? Is our hope that Heffley comes in and turns the team around just like Liam Cohen did his first year? That's what we're shooting for.
Yeah, that's what you're shooting for, but you also need some staying power, though. So, look, the window is probably only open for 3 or 4 years, as we're seeing in Detroit, right? Because it's not just that players go up and down and their contracts, get more expensive. People start taking your coordinators, right? Ben Johnson was their offensive coordinator. He's in Chicago. Aaron Glenn was their defensive coordinator. He's with the Jets. So with the Dolphins, let's see. We'll see with Jacksonville how long it lasts. We'll see in Chicago. Washington came up very quickly, right? But then Jaden Daniels gets the elbow injury, and we'll see what happens there. Houston, C.J. Stroud, what's happened to him? So that's the first step, Crowder. You want to get off to a good start because we do see these 1 and 2 year turnarounds. But then after that, can you maintain? Can you stay on the top? You don't want to just see this flash in the pan. So it's a multi-layered thing, but you're right. The first step is getting off the starting line like Ben Johnson or Liam Cohen did, and then you take it from there.
And Perk, Anthony Weaver, he's interviewing for head coaching jobs. The new coach is a defensive coordinator. Is there any way that Anthony Weaver's here and also Heffley? Like, it doesn't make sense to me to keep the coordinator when you're bringing your defense in.
I think it seems like they just want to break with the past, which, that doesn't hook up with the Mike McDaniel being around on Thursday. But, look, you fired your GM, you fired your assistant GM, you fired the 2 co-directors of player personnel, right? Adam Ingroff and Anthony Hunt. So you wanted to clear out the scouting department. You're probably going to part with Tua. You're probably going to part with Tyreek. So I think Weaver would probably be caught up in that sweep, Shannon, that you just part with the old in almost every way that you can, and you get a new mentality. You get, new guts of the team, new people that you're going to rely on. No more Tua, no more Tyreek, and you just figure out a brand new way of doing it. I think Anthony Weaver gets caught up in that wave of change.
True or false, Perk? Next season is shaping up just to be a boring, uninteresting season.
Oh, it better not be. Look, again, look at how all these programs turned it around in Washington and Chicago and Jacksonville, Denver. No. That's the mentality I'm talking about, Hoch. You cannot have a GM and a coach come in here and go, well, I guess we got to reset. No, get out of my office with that crap. You see what these other franchises have done. You need to get this team to the playoffs by 2027. Not that somebody's going to be fired if you don't, but that's the mentality you need. That needs to be one of your intermediate goals on the way to winning a Super Bowl. Get this team to the playoffs by 2027. Don't accept any, we don't have a quarterback. Bump all that noise.
But
get me somebody who has some good.
Easier said than done. How they're hamstrung by the cap. They have a.
I don't want to hear all that mess. I don't want to hear all that mess.
But you have to hear it.
Mentality. We're not accepting participation trophies anymore. Mentality. I'm telling you, don't accept that mess. That's the problem with this franchise.
You have to accept reality, though, don't you? I mean, it's nice.
What was Jacksonville's reality a year ago?
That's fair.
You got a 35-year-old GM and a first-time head coach there. You got Trevor Lawrence making $50 million that he probably shouldn't be making, and you still make the playoffs. Get to the playoffs.
Well, I think their best chance is to have Tua as their starter.
See, that's a winning mentality, Hawk. That's what I'm talking about. Tua can get you there. That's it. Turn that world upside down, baby. There you go.
I don't know. You've got me all confused.
But
Perk, you've got me
I
all
knew he did, but Perk brings up. I got to ask him because Perk brings up Trevor Lawrence, who was the guy that got the big deal and wasn't being successful. But our big deal quarterback, our money quarterback, we benched Perk. Like you have to. I'm not on the lose thing, but we have a $50 million quarterback that we decided not to put in the game for the last couple games.
No, Tua can't be part of it. I bring up Trevor Lawrence. They had a defense to help him, right? To help him make his life a lot easier. Tua's not part of the future. Tua's got to be gone. I bring that up just kind of joking, but look, Trevor Lawrence is not a $50 million quarterback, but that's an excuse. He's got the money that he has. Again, Jacksonville, first-time coach, a 35-year-old GM, first-time defensive coordinator, right? Anthony Campanelli, and they still get to the playoffs. No excuses. Find a way. And I'm not saying this year, but by 2027, get this Dolphins team to the playoffs. Enough excuses in this franchise.
Yeah, I don't know. It seems a little short on actual action plan. I love the motivational aspect of it, but
you better find a way. You better find a way, or you're going to be unemployed. You're gonna end up like who was our boy up in New England with the linebacker with the 1 year stay at coach?
Mayo.
Rod Mayo. That's right. Yeah, don't be messing around though.
Bring it strong, quick, or you're gonzo.
That's the trend. That's the trend.
I like it. Chris Perkins. Read his work in the Sun Sentinel. Thank you, Perk.
All right, guys. What's up?
There you go, Chris Perkins. 5 o'clock Funky Buddha Happy Hour is coming up next. Championship Meet Energy is nonstop at Gulfstream Park. Live racing every Thursday through Sunday. And holy mackerel, is there a big one coming up on Saturday. It is the Pegasus World Cup. Now, we're going to be live at Gulfstream Park. We're going to do the show live Friday at 10 Palms at Gulfstream Park. And then Saturday is one of the biggest days of racing for the entire year, the Pegasus World Cup. There are very limited tickets available still for Saturday. You can get them at GulfstreamPark.com. But man, Gulfstream Park, what fun coming up this month. You got the Pegasus, which is this Saturday. You've got the Holy Bull Stakes coming up January 31st. You experience the thrill as the top 3-year-olds make their season debut in this pivotal prep race, setting the tone for an unforgettable championship meet. And the 31st is also Taste at the Track, Tacos and Tequila. So there is action in January at Gulfstream Park, but it'll get underway. I mean, they've got live racing Thursday through Sunday, but Friday with us, live broadcast, and then the 10th anniversary of the Pegasus World Cup is this Saturday. And man, that is going to be some big day of racing. So we will see you there Friday at Gulfstream Park. And again, very limited tickets for the Pegasus available online. You've got Holy Bull Stakes tickets available online and Taste at the Track tickets available online. That's all available at GulfstreamPark.com.
You're listening to the Hoch, Crowder, and Solana Show.
I love Zephyr Hills.
There is no Zephyr Hills. It's Zephyr Hills. We've been over this. Ah, Jimmy. I see what you're trying to do there. Don't worry about losing a national championship on the final drive. Just be happy. All right. I'm happy. I'm not really happy. But I'm not
Be happy.
despondent. I'm not despondent. Like I'm not despondent. I'm not happy. They were very close to winning their 6th national championship. But
That's the mid ground of knowing that you're the second best college football team in the world, and you couldn't get over that edge, but you were right there. Last drive, Carson Beck doesn't throw that interception. Like, you didn't get whooped. Indiana's been whooping people. You didn't get whooped. It was a good game.
that is true.
Yeah, but I am despondent because, first of all, it was like 60-40 Indiana fans yesterday, which I wasn't pleased with, to be 100% honest. And everybody thought Indiana was going to roll Miami. Everybody thought Indiana was just going to be too much. They were going to overpower the Hurricanes. The Hurricanes didn't even belong in the game. All this nonsense we were hearing, and you had it. You were there. You had the ball. A minute to go in their territory with a chance to win the game. And now, all these dumb analysts get to say, "See, we told you, Carson Beck. He was never going to come through in the clutch," and it's just not true. Like, he put them in that position. He played, for the most part, a decent game, and he literally won them the game against Ole Miss in the exact same situation. You could have proved everybody wrong yesterday, and I think the Hurricanes did to a certain extent, but that interception, man, just it crushed me last night.
Yeah, no, I mean there was no bright side to the interception. I'm not arguing that. I'm just saying I'm not despondent because I did see what Indiana did to other teams and to Oregon the final game before this one, and I do know how the Hurricanes were dismissed at the beginning of the college football playoffs and then went through a gauntlet with Texas A&M and Ohio State and Ole Miss, and then you're within a national championship with one drive to go. I'm not despondent because he tried to put a pass in there into double coverage that, had he thrown it perfectly, would have been the game-winning touchdown until they come down and kick a field goal real quick because you did it with too much time on the clock. But no, I mean, you were right there. Yeah. You were right there.
No, and with the special teams blunders, with the block, listen, the hell with the missed field goal. Kickers miss field goals. A blocked punt that not just got blocked, that ran back for a touchdown. Like, that doesn't happen in national championship games. The 3 phases of the game, you won 2 of them, and you lost the least important one, I would say, people say, but your kicker missed a kick and you gave up 7 points on the other side. You can't do that against a good team. And I kept saying all last week that Miami is a superior roster to Indiana, but the Indiana is a very good team. And you can't just let a punt get blocked for a touchdown against a very...
Yeah, it's going to be about it for Crowder tonight. 5 o'clock hour, by the way, is the Funky Buddha happy hour. I don't know if he's there now, but we lost your signal and we lost your video. We lost your sound. 5 o'clock hour is the Funky Buddha happy hour. I didn't mention, but tonight and every Tuesday at Funky Buddha, free Texas Hold'em tournaments, 4 p.m., 6 p.m., and 8 p.m. So if you're planning on getting there for the 4 p.m. one, you're an hour and 5 minutes late. I don't know what you're even thinking at this point. But if you want to be there for the 6 o'clock one, you still have time, or the 8 o'clock one, you still have time. So poker night tonight, they do it on Thursdays as well. Poker night tonight. I see Crowder's back. Poker night tonight at the Funky Buddha Tap Room in Oakland Park. And we know coming up at the end of the month is the Maple Bacon Coffee Porter Festival. That's January 31st. So what's that, a week from this Saturday? I think that's a week from this Saturday, right?
Yes.
January 31st?
Yeah, week from this Saturday. So Maple Bacon Coffee Porter Festival at Funky Buddha Tap Room in Oakland Park, the place to be. If you like beer and you're not at the Maple Bacon Coffee Porter Festival, well, then you're making a big error in judgment. Period. End of story. All right.
I agree.
let's do headlines here for the 5 o'clock Funky Buddha happy hour with Solana, who's wearing a Notre Dame sweater. Everyone has pointed that out on
Why? Why is it Notre
on the
Dame?
chat. It does look like the Notre Dame colors a little bit.
Why?
Because those are the colors Notre Dame wears.
Oh,
I don't
okay.
know how
All
else
right.
to,
I wasn't
I don't
sure.
know how else to answer that.
So
Why
you're
did
saying
you purchase that sweater? Like you saw that sweater and said, "This is what I want to wear on a Wednesday."
vintage? Yeah, I bought it in Firenze in Italy in a vintage shop.
Oh, Firenze.
Firenze,
You don't
yeah.
say. Oh, Firenze.
Oh, you bought it in Italy. Oh, okay.
So you went to Goodwill in Italy? One of the very few people who travels across the world to find some hand-me-downs.
You bought that overseas and brought it to America?
It's €87. Jackasses.
Well, no one knows about it. I think you got ripped off. All right, let's do headlines. Brought to you by Durrell Volkswagen, home of the Pricito, our lowest price. Visit them at Durrell Volkswagen or DurrellVolkswagen.com.
Couple Hurricanes notes or college football notes. We move quickly in the college football
Right.
landscape. I mean, forget about yesterday. We move
That
quickly.
was a long time ago, Jack.
Emory Williams, who's been on the Hurricanes roster, quarterback depth chart. He a lot of people thought he'd be starting this year.
Oh, somebody says, what time is the ticket giveaway? Well, had you not texted that in, it would have been tomorrow. Five-Finger Death Punch is coming to, I Think, Financial Amphitheater in October. We've got a pair every day. It's a Live Nation show. What caller? No, how about caller 4 for the number of points Bam Adebayo had last night? Caller number 4, 305-567-0560. 305-567-0560. Caller number 4 gets 2 tickets for Five-Finger Death Punch coming to, I Think, Financial Amphitheater in October.
I feel as if I played an NBA game, half of it I could score 4 and 6 points, and that's what Bam scores sometimes.
You think
4 is remarkable.
You think
I think
you think you
that
could
I
you
could
think
stand
yesterday with the Heat you could have scored more points than Bam Adebayo.
Well, like I said, that's going to be it for Crowder on today's show. He's just got a
Lord
bad
have
signal.
mercy.
I don't know what's
But
happening.
it can't be I got the new computer.
Yeah, well, you got your old internet, so let's just get through headlines here without you fumbling and bumbling every 30 seconds.
Throw me the ball. I could hit 2 shots.
You don't have a jump shot, bro. Come on. I saw you run the 40.
I got a J. I saw you run the 40. I got a J.
Emory Williams, who's we were kind of expecting him to be the starter until Carson Beck transferred here last year. He has entered the transfer portal, and I saw expected target to be East Carolina. So have fun, ECU. Now, there's a developing story here. This is actually a developing.
What's his name? What is his name?
Did you like the way I just kind of glanced up at you?
Couldn't just let me go right
Man, we gotta reset. I didn't know we have this kind of relationship. What's his name?
I mean, it is very close.
I literally was like looking at a text. So I just,
It's a stupid sweater, man. You guys have me thinking
meantime, Jimmy's on the phone with customer support at Dell trying to figure out what's wrong with Crowder's internet. It keeps dropping out. All right, call me back.
Man, y'all got some funny nicknames amongst yourselves.
This is a developing story, Hoch, an actual developing story. Darian Mensah, he was a Duke quarterback.
Yep.
Entered the transfer portal.
Yep.
And everybody seems to think that the obvious landing spot would be Miami.
He's coming to Miami.
That's why he entered the transfer portal. Well, Duke is suing
Yeah.
Darian Mensah for entering the transfer portal. They don't want to allow him to leave via the transfer portal.
Well, I think it's because he has an NIL deal.
Some sort of contractor
correct.
deal.
So it's not because he entered the transfer portal. They're saying, hey, we have a signed contract with him to perform services for us. So if you have a signed contract, you can't just say, I'm no longer abiding by the terms of the contract. I'm going to go do it somewhere else. This is going to be very, very interesting.
Hawk, yeah, I'm glad you said that. This is the start of the NIL legal process because
the checks and balances.
The checks and balances.
The checks and balances.
It's going to get fixed.
Because you can't just say, yeah, I'm here and I'm going to go. I'm jumping around. You can't do it when you're paying somebody $3-4 million a year. Expect to see this moving forward with a lot of schools suing players because of the NIL thing.
Apparently there was a judge who was going to oversee the matter, but he was a booster for Duke, so they had to get rid of that judge, and now there's going to be another judge proceeding over the entire situation. The Miami Dolphins intro press conference for John Eric Sullivan and their new head coach, who they hired yesterday, Jeff Hafley, will be Thursday at 11 a.m.
Oh, all right.
And obviously media will be in attendance, but it looks like they're going to stream it on YouTube as well.
I will watch that. I'm interested. I just don't know anything about these guys.
I watched I watched John Eric Sullivan, the general manager's sit-down interview with Travis Wingfield, which I thought was really cool. I mean, Travis is great, and, he was just very direct in terms of this is a process. He said all the right things.
Yeah.
Most do.
Yeah. Everything sounds good till you have to make decisions. I just want to see production. I don't need to see what you want to say talking to Travis Wingfield.
And that's your boy, dude.
I love Travis. Like, no. I'm not taking a shot at Travis. I'm taking a shot at I need to see production.
Yeah.
I don't give a damn about an interview. Everybody talk about these interviews where it's funny. Hawk talks about it all the time. Mike McDaniel's little goofy shtick was cool when we score 70 points a game. But when you start getting choked out, it's not cool anymore. I just want to see production.
I have seen some videos of Hafley speaking. He's not Mike McDaniel. I'll leave it at that. He is not.
He's direct.
He's got a little edge to him.
That's what I want. I want somebody that'll slap somebody in a street fight.
Right. We haven't had that in a minute. Actually,
would Hafley slap somebody? I'm going to see the video, Solana, but if we get in a fight and Hafley's there, would he slap somebody?
Yeah, I think he would. I think he would slap somebody.
Oh, I'm locked in.
Yeah, I think he would. Here's your schedule for tonight. The Miami Hurricanes men's basketball team, Canes Hoops. They're hosting FSU. Nothing makes me feel better than the Canes just kicking FSU's ass.
I mean, let's go. Let's kick some ass tonight.
Jay Lucas era, baby. Let's ride.
They're honoring Coach Larinaga tonight. We are going. We will be there. They're going to do a little pregame honoring, and they're going to do a little halftime honor for Coach L. And while supplies last, when you go in to the Watsco Center, they've got like the banner for Coach L, his era. And while supplies last, you'll get one when you enter tonight. I'm looking to see what the line is for tonight's game.
Solana, you ain't gonna wear that ashy ass sweater to
you're wearing
Coach L's
Notre Dame colors to
Yeah, now you guys have me thinking
in your head, yeah.
Jimmy, let's Jimmy, take off your shirt. Jimmy, take off your shirt. I have the ticket, so either give me your shirt or you're not going.
Hurricanes are 11.5-point favorites tonight over FSU.
Was that Shrek's sweater? Why is the neck so big?
It's loose fitting, Crowder.
You want to borrow my jacket?
No, I don't want to borrow anything of yours, Jimmy. Jimmy showed up yesterday. He had a late night, to be fair.
Yeah.
Jimmy showed up yesterday with 2 boxes. It was BOGO at Publix of golden double stuffed Oreos.
Wow.
Those are your favorite Oreos?
Yeah, double stuff. I'm very excited for the Oreo Zeros, which are coming out.
He likes the golden because it has no black attached to it.
That is correct. The black cookies on Oreos literally ruin the Oreo.
And a can of Pringles. That's what he spent the entire night with.
Jimmy, I mean, you're killing yourself. Listen, I like a Cheez-It every now and then. 2 packs of Oreos?
It was a BOGO.
But doesn't mean you have to bring and eat both.
Well, I was on my way here. I got them on my way here.
Right, but you could leave one in the car.
I'm not leaving it in the car. It'll
You
go
think someone's
bad.
going to go bad? You could leave an Oreo. You could leave an Oreo in the sun. Have you seen the videos where they take a blowtorch to Oreos and nothing happens?
Nothing happens.
You think it's going to go bad in the car? First of all, it's chilly last night. Nothing's going. You could leave milk in the car last night. It wasn't going to go bad.
Jimmy, let me see your Publix receipts. I know they're marvelous.
Just amazing.
But I asked him because he got here at 2 and he was going to be here all night. He was probably here till what, Jimmy? Almost 2 a.m. last night. I asked him, oh, so what else did you bring? Like, I figured he brought a sandwich and then he just picked up some snacks. He's like, no, this is all I have.
So your dinner last night was 2 packs of Oreo double stuff and Pringles?
Pizza when I got home.
Oh, okay.
To finish out your local schedule for tonight, the Miami Heat, following their blowout loss in Golden State last night, they'll play Sacramento. The Kings, light the beam. That's tonight, 10 p.m.
All right.
And the Florida Panthers, who did lose yesterday, they're off until Thursday. They're going to host Winnipeg.
All right.
All right, gentlemen. Your weather in South Florida, it is partly cloudy. Tonight, the lows, they're going to drop into the 60s.
Nice one.
That's your weather.
All right. The Heisman Trophy winner, Gino Torretta, will talk national championship with us in the next segment. It is the new year. We're 20 days in. Improving your health may be one of your big resolutions. But when you're tired and low on energy, not sleeping well, you don't see any progress at the gym, maybe staying committed becomes tougher. So Atlantic Men's Clinic can help with that resolution because those symptoms are often signs of low testosterone. Low T causes a lot of problems: low sex drive, bad sleep, unproductive workouts, decreased energy, brain fog. And most guys just attribute those symptoms to aging. But there's treatments that'll give you back your vibrancy. So if you're feeling like that, treat the low T and change your life. Atlantic Men's Clinic, they're the experts in treating low testosterone and other men's sexual health conditions. I was at Atlantic Men's Clinic in Boca today for my testosterone shot. I wish I had started sooner with Atlantic Men's Clinic. That's how much better I feel. So, guys, if you're in your early to mid-30s, you start losing 2 to 3% of your testosterone production every year. Happens gradually. Get to be in your mid-50s like me, you don't feel like the same guy that you did. So do something about it. Schedule a consultation at Atlantic Men's Clinic. There's 7 locations in South Florida, including their new office in Hollywood. So give them a call, 877-455-7300, 877-455-7300, or visit AtlanticMen'sClinic.com.
This is Hoch, Crowder, and Solana.
Jimmy, you know how to make a hot tea?
No, I do not.
You know the ingredients of tea.
Water,